Money, please. Yes, ma'am.
Woohoo! Today is the day!
You bet it is, dude.
As of today, my YouTube channel, Star Drive Productions, is officially 10 years old!
Indeed, such a nice milestone, dude.
Thanks, Jack.
But wasn't that a couple of months ago, actually?
True. But this video that I have been working on is so big that I was forced to delay it in a couple of months.
It better be worth the extra wait.
Oh, it is. Trust me.
So, why exactly are we on this train again? I thought you were supposed to be making a video.
I am, but I want to arrive at my production studio in style.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep, just the 5 of us.
I get us two, your daughter Becky, and the engineer, but who's the 5th person again?
Oh yeah, this is Clover. She's Becky's best friend. They met in elementary school together.
Becky goes to school?
Yes. Turns out that it's legally required to send children to school. Who would have thought?
Dude, did you have to learn that the hard way?
Stop right there, criminal scum!
No.
Well, either way, I'm glad that Betty is making friends that are her age.
Thanks, Jackson. That means a lot to me.
Actually, I am older than Becky.
No! You and I both are 10. You were gonna be older than me when this video was originally supposed to come out on my birthday, but Mommy had to delay it, sadly, due to her personal life.
Wait, you still say Mommy?
Hey, what's wrong with my daughter calling me Mommy?
No offense, old timer. When people are under double digits, they're supposed to say Mom. Mommy. Sounds so childish.
Old timer? I'm not old, I'm only 27!
Dude, just let it go.
Fine. Just continue playing your... What game you girls playing?
Pokemon!
Ah, that's right.
Let's see that you're in double digits now, just like me. We're both 2 10-year-old girls that are faster and can do whatever we want.
Yeah, now I can own a pet duck, right, Mommy?
Someday you just might, dear. I can feel it.
Yay! Thank you, Mommy! I love you!
You're welcome. I love you too, Becky.
Is it even legal to own a pet duck in Pennsylvania?
That's probably nothing.
So you see, Becky, actually, he's a water-type duck Pokemon. If they can usually be fire-type Pokemon since they're weak to water.
You girls enjoying that new Pokemon game?
Yep, I'm teaching Becky how to play. I got Scarlet, here's for your Tito.
I got Violet.
That's wonderful to hear. Hee
Do you even understand any of this Pokemon nonsense?
It's been like 5 years since I really played Pokemon. Not really my thing.
I see. So, by the way,
Yes?
what even is your 10th anniversary video?
Yeah, tell us!
Alright, what the heck, I'll spoil it now. It's a ranking video on something that no one did before.
Like every Disney Canyon film?
No, I did that last year. I'm gonna rank the 50 highest grossing anime films ever!
Whoa!
That sounds awesome, dude.
Thanks!
So, like Mario and Across the Spider-Verse are on there?
Oh, sadly no. Despite me loving those 2 films, I put this video together at the start of this year, being January 1st, 2023, and the only film from this decade on that list is Minions Rise of Gru. And the oldest one, i.e. the only 90s film, is The Lion King.
Ah, I see.
Soon I'll be able to tell everyone at the theater this.
Hey, speaking of Dashie, I mean to talk to you something about her.
Huh? What's up?
She's been acting strange as of late. Talking to herself, having self-doubt, claiming that she is always holding everyone together as hard as she can. She thinks she's worthless, and I think that she might have some hate vendetta against you.
What are you talking about? Dash and I are best internet friends. Heck, we're sisters.
Alright, I'm just concerned for her. Something is definitely wrong with her.
Go on, kids, it's time.
Own it!
Look, we'll talk about this later, Jackson. We're not done with this conversation. But we need to start our show. It's time.
Right, I understand.
Star Giant Productions.
Hello, far, far away! Yeah, whoop, whoop! May all your endings be happy and, well, you know the rest.
Well, folks, here it is. 10 years of me making videos. With over 75,000 subscribers. You all mean the world to me.
2 hours later!
And now, it's time for number 1, and the best film that has a lot of money is... And with me making videos for 10 years, we finally get to do this 10th anniversary video. And after watching all 50 movies for this list, spending over a year working on this video that you are all watching, Angel!
Yes, sir. I mean, ma'am. I mean, boss. I mean, Pumbaa. I mean, Pumbaa. Or Timon. Wait, we're not talking about Lion King.
It's okay, kid. You're new at this.
Thanks. Wait, kid? I'm freaking older than you!
Ah, I see, kid. But, just play it cool, and please call me Rebeccah.
Alright then, Rebeccah.
Please hand me the envelope that you got.
Here you go.
Thank you very much. And now, the one film that I find to be the absolute worst and the only film on this list to receive a 0 out of 10 is... Sing.
Alright, I love that movie.
This film is garbage! Nothing about this film makes any sense or is enjoyable in the slightest. It's a film about animals singing pop music, and that is it. Oh, are they, like, from the human world or something like that? Oh, I'm glad you asked, because they don't answer it fucking once. Like, it's just a bunch of random pop stuff. I mean, with Zootopia, they give, like, animal pun names, but in this one, there's just no names. It's just, hey, song exists in our world, let's just have animals sing it. It is awful. And that is it. I wouldn't mind this if this was them making their own original songs. That would have been clever, but it's not. I feel like the only reason people saw this movie was because of the trailers of just the animals singing. That's it. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Secret Life of Pets was better at that. Secret Life of Pets had better looking animals, and that came out the same year as this movie, just months prior. What happened? I don't know why, but the anthropomorphication of these animals kind of looks ugly on them. Maybe it's just because of the ugliness of the film overall. It looks too generic. Oh yeah, that reminds me. This movie is a combination ripoff of 2 other properties that are better. Zootopia and American Idol. So basically, you see the film Zootopia and you think, American Idol. Yeah, let's have a whole movie of those animals actually doing a singing competition. And yes, I did love American Idol growing up. I mean, I haven't watched it in over a decade. The last time I saw was that pants on the ground meme. Anyone remember that?
Looking like a fool with your pants on the ground with the gold in your mouth, head turned sideways.
And Zootopia is the anthropomorphic animal aspect. I mean, it came out 8 months before Sing, and it made over $1 billion, so I get the reason why. But man, I bet the Disney ripoff starring animals that should have been humans is Shark Tale. No, I'm being serious. That is a movie that is a perfect negative 10 out of 10 for how batshit insane it was. Plus, Oscar is the villain of the movie that the movie refuses to admit. Sing is just animals singing. It's boring. Nothing of interest happens. They reuse a lot of the models in this movie. Everyone knows about the infamous crocodile that gets reused over and over again, but I'm pretty sure there's more than just that. Oh yeah, in the past I said, that's because Sing is a movie that stars animals that have no purpose in being animals, except for the marketing. Like, if you deadass used humans for this, no one would defend this movie. Zootopia worked better because the film took advantage of the fact that they were animals. Plus, it played a huge effect in the story. For Sing, they used human settings like buildings. Not very creative. It'd be funny if Buster slept in a tree like an actual koala bear, but no, he sleeps inside a drawer. Is it because he's, like, small? We're supposed to care about Buster Moon, but he has as much sympathy as Chris McClane. At least with Chris, we're supposed to hate him. Buster we're supposed to like. Yeah, I totally want to see Buster succeed after forcing that gorilla to play piano and changing the porcupine's identity. Stealing someone else's power? Yeah, that totally wants me to see Buster succeed. Stealing water is also bad. Sing is a liar reveal story. Hooray! For Sing, the iguana, who should be fired by the way, why does Buster keep her around? Anyway, her glass eye, which is gross, falls out and adds 2 extra zeros to the computer keyboard, making a $100,000 prize! Instead of just the usual 1,000 that Buster was gonna do. Trust me, it's actually dumber in the actual movie than how I'm making it sound. I mean, in this case, why lie? Yeah, 100 grand is way better than just 1 grand, but I still think that a lot of people would still come even if the prize was just 1 grand. Maybe not as much, like the mouse definitely wouldn't have come, but I think almost everyone else would still come. Hell, after the theater floods, the contestants still try to help Buster, even though he's an asshole that disses them because we gotta have a shitty Act 2 breakup. Buster disses the elephant at the pool house and she gets rightfully pissed. Then 5 minutes later, she wants to try again. Why? Buster treats everyone like shit, and yet everyone just gives him way too many chances. Actually, all the animals that the singing animals have to deal with are assholes, and they're better off without them. Except Seth MacFarlane Mouse. He's the asshole by himself. And yes, that is Seth MacFarlane voicing the mouse. The mom/wife that Reese Witherspoon voices makes a Rube Goldberg contraption that makes me question why bother going through this $100,000 singing competition when she can probably make millions doing this instead. It's very sad that no one in her family, none of the 25 kids or the husband, noticed that she's gone. Is her life so predictable that everyone does the same thing every day? No, wait, one part of the movie has one of the kids going with her to rehearsal, so that shoots that logic. I also hate her partner Pig. He plays the worst joke of the movie that you saw in the trailers. No, wait, the actual worst joke of the film was the farm bull squishing the snail alive. There's another terrible joke with the pig girl where she's in the grocery store dancing by herself, and they use the same song that the Peanuts movie did, a movie that came out a year before this. I can't play the song because of copyright, but they both used the song Bambaleo. Also, why did Buster pair a pig up with just another pig in this animal world? Get creative! It'd be funny if a chicken hawk, a thing that eats chickens, becomes paired up with a chicken, but the twist is that the chicken is the one that takes advantage, not the chicken hawk. Then again, without Buster hates giraffes, simply for them being taller than the random Japanese foxes because Japanese, maybe I shouldn't be surprised by this. And the model for Gunther is bad. The first time that I saw this movie, I thought that Gunther was Rosita's wife. But no, they're separate characters. They just didn't interest me that much and look too similar. Her husband and Gunther look the same to me. Speaking of the husband, I hate him because he says he's always too tired for work, but we never see him work. For all we know, he might as well have the same job as Patrick Star watching the guy get hit in the head with a coconut. Even when the family gets stuck in the contraption, they're too useless to get out of it. Damn it, Reese Witherspoon, get out of this movie and go back to being Ginormica Giantess, please. Yes, same actress. There's a porcupine teenager that had a boyfriend that cheats on her, and yet he falls in love with her at the end again. The movie was never clear about that, I think. But I think the worst relationship is the gorilla. No, Dad, I don't want to be in your gang of wanting to steal $25 million. Like, I like this kid, but oh my fucking god, I hate the dad. He is probably one of the worst dads I've ever seen in any film ever. He is worse than Buck Cluck. Buck Cluck never encouraged Chicken Little to steal. This guy wants him to steal. And, oh, that's the end? Remember when he says this?
Exemption. I'm so proud of you.
Aw, how touching. Because they're touching each other. Remind me again. What did he say earlier?
How did I end up with a son like you, eh? You're nothing like me. You never were, and you never will be.
Johnny needs to more or less state to his dad, no, Dad, I don't feel comfortable stealing $25 million. Someone has to say that? And the elephant? Okay, on second thought, she actually has a good supporting family, the only good one. Too bad they're not on screen that long. What is it with animations I've seen as of late that have amazing families that don't want to focus on them? Hello, Moon Girl. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Fairly Idol was better because that at least went through with itself with being a competition. Sing sets itself up as a competition, then towards the end of the film, Sing became like, no competition, we're all winners. That's a terrible message. In life, you're going to lose at things. I can't find a single thing to truly enjoy about this movie, and I'll tell you the why right now. Because anytime that the film tries to do something good or even the most remote-worthy thing of being passable, it gets cut short. Oh, you like the Seth MacFarlane mouse? Well, how about every time that he sings, we cut to some random that is not the focus? Does this film have some kind of stupid ADHD problem? I'm being serious with that question. There's a scene that's supposed to be funny with his hippo on TV being interviewed on how he's gonna try out, and then it cuts to him playing the piano. But you can't really enjoy it because then it cuts to this.
Oh my gosh, look at her butt. Oh my god.
Seriously, how did a film this bad make so much money? It's amazing that the best films of each decade that I was alive didn't make it on the list. No, I'm being serious. I was born in 1996. My favorite films from each decade were Toy Story 2 of the 1990s, Spirited Away of the 2000s, Spider-Verse from the 2010s, and Encanto for this decade. And yet, none of them people decide to give enough money, despite millions calling them each works of art. You're telling me that Sing deserves more money than any of them? This is one of the worst films I've ever seen in my entire life, and it is definitely the only film that's a 0 out of 10. There was nothing likable. Brave and even Shrek the Third at least had some likable characters. I like both of the parents in Brave. And you know what? I like that wizard guy in Shrek the Third. There are some characters I can like. There are some moments I can actually enjoy. I mean, Sing has actually some good moments, I guess, but they're cut so short and unfocused that I can't actually give them a point. You really got pissed me off to give yourself a 0 out of 10, but this film deserves it. It is a perfect 0 out of 10. There is nothing to like about it. Even something like the Lorax. The Lorax at least has the memes going for it. And with the Grinch, I at least actually like some of the changes that the film does. I'll let you know where the Grinch places later. But thankfully, now with this list done, I no longer have to do Sing again. Unless I do the worst of the 2010s list again. Oh boy. Also, don't you dare tell me that I have to watch Sing 2. I don't want to see any comments about that. That didn't make enough money for this list despite being the highest grossing anime film of 2021. We got 49 more films to go. Let's just go. Goodbye. See ya later.
If you could change your mate, would you?
Fuck this movie. This was so much worse on black. Fuck this movie. This was so much worse on rewatch. Merida's antics are just so annoying. I always hate it when our characters that we're supposed to root for are 100% in the wrong. Like, Merida is 100% in the wrong. Eleanor is 100% in the right. That's not even a competition. This bitch Merida flat out states multiple times that her parents were never there for her. And I'm like, excuse me? The opening shows her caring for you. The present shows her caring for you. Even a fucking flashback shows her caring for you. What do you mean your mother was never there for you? Look at that! I also love it how throughout the film, Merida always likes to say it's not her fault, and I'm just thinking, this is the biggest form of denial that I've ever seen. Fuck it, we're doing the denial thing again. 1, 2, 3. Denial. I love what the description of the film is on Disney+. Princess Merida must undo a beastly curse before it's too late. Gee, how did that curse happen, Merida? It's not like you ignore responsibility and did it to your mom intentionally. Oh, wait! The point of the film is for Merida to learn a lesson, but we have this thing called the Moral Event Horizon. Basically, it's an event when the character has done too much evil to be forgiven.
Have you changed your mind at all about the marriage and all of that? How do you feel about the marriage now?
Merida? Oh, just take me to my room.
Just take all the time you need getting yourself right, Mum. Then maybe in a bit you might have something new to say on the marriage.
Mum? So I'll just tell them the wedding's off?
She tries to stop her own wedding 4 times in between when the mom eats the cake and when the mother becomes a bear. That was less than 2 minutes! Merida in this is what Woody was like in the Black Friday reel. But at least that version was canceled and retooled. This is like if Jeffrey Katzenberg told Disney to fuck off and went with his original vision anyway. I said before that this film was just like Brother Bear. You know, the other Disney film about a character turned into a bear. And originally I had a hard time picking between the two on which one was worse, even going back and forth saying that one was better than the other. Sometimes I would say that Brave was better than Brother Bear. Both of these films are nothing but bear shit, but in the end, Brother Bear is better. And I thought about that after much deliberation. Brother Bear, as bad as it was, turned the right character into a bear. Turning Eleanor into a bear would be like turning Denahi into a bear. See, the reason why Kenai turned into a bear in Brother Bear was because he didn't learn his lesson yet about nature. Merida hasn't learned shit, and yet she avoids being turned into a bear. I don't give a shit about her in the end because it's far too late for her to learn a lesson. Also, there aren't any actual bears in this movie. They tell a random lore story about the clans. I thought at first this was to tell a tale to help Merida learn a lesson, but no, the bear that we see at the beginning and in the end are the same one part of the legend. I didn't even realize that until my most recent watch through. Honestly, that makes the film more stupid. There were never any real bears all along. Fucking Brother Bear had real bears. These bears are as fake as Winnie the fucking Pooh! Merida's brothers are the worst Minions ripoff ever. This was a problem that everyone got wrong last decade. People often blame the original source for the problem, instead of the ripoffs like Norm of the North and Brave and Ice Age Continental Drift. They even go as far as blaming movies that came out prior with this problem like Flush Soleil Slugs. Here's my rule. The original does nothing wrong. Regardless if it's good or bad, it's the ripoffs that should be blamed, not the original. Aladdin and Shrek were both very big film influences. Are we gonna blame them now for when one of their ripoffs are bad? No! And that's a misconception that the last decade had. And I'm glad in 2023 we're finally fixing that problem. But yes, Merida's brothers are bad. Let's ask the simplest question to prove my point. Why does Merida have 3 brothers? I bet you could even name them without looking it up. They don't have any dialogue in the movie with the exception of the occasional sound effects. You could have honestly made Merida have just 1 brother, and the film would be the same. Oh wait, by only doing 1, you couldn't copy off the Minions anymore, and that would require you to put effort into making the original character. At least the Minions you can tell apart. I can't tell Merida's brothers apart at all. Why are the brothers even in this? They're not in the opening, and they aren't gonna be part of the royalty. Okay, they're technically the princes, and I guess future king, but they barely even talk about that. The only thing of significance that they do is turn into bears and jump into a woman's breast. Oh, you thought I was joking? Oh, how silly of me. This is Pixar, folks. It's not like Pixar is known for having wonderful characters, beautiful backgrounds, full of imagination, memorable stories that we still care about to this day. Nah, it's all about the edgy humor, that ass! Hamish, Hubert, and Harris. That's what their names are. Did you actually know that, or did you look it up? Or did you hear it from me? If you're watching this while this is first premiering, do me a favor and please comment on your honest answer. Merida is the worst Disney princess. I stand by that. No other princess disregards their responsibilities this much. And it's sad that this was Pixar's only princess. Fitting how none of the Disney canon princesses are this awful. The only canon film that I found worse than this one was Raya. And Raya wasn't the main problem with that movie. It was other characters in that film. It honestly would be nice for Pixar to try another princess, because I think other companies could try their own princesses. It doesn't have to just be the Disney canon. And if you say first is worse, I'll have you know Snow White still holds up to this day. Fergus imitating Merida, which was a hilarious scene, not gonna lie.
I don't want to get married. I want to stay single and let my hair flow in the wind as I ride through the glen, firing arrows into the sunset.
But Fergus summed up Merida to a T. Yes, Merida, try to ignore tradition and go against your mother's wishes. This movie takes place in the 10th century in Scotland. You think women have not that many rights now? Try back then when they had no rights. When they were only part of the kitchen and meant to only give birth to babies. I get what Merida is trying to do. I really do. But this is like Mulan 2 again, when the characters are just in the wrong time period preaching their messages. Like, if you preach this message in the 21st century, it would be more justified. Also, not helping Merida's case is her not giving a shit about anything. Okay, Merida, you want to get rid of marriage, United Kingdom together? Fine. What is your next move? Merida keeps preaching that she wants to do things her own way, but doesn't actually go through with anything. She just fucks off and climbs waterfalls. Truly a better system than making peace. Seriously, if you want me for even a second to consider trusting Merida's actions, then she needs to have a plan. Merida just wants to shoot arrows all day. That's not a good system. When the film doesn't anger or annoy me with Merida's antics, the film ends up boring. I almost fell asleep in the second act because how forgettable it got. Merida tries to teach her mom how to act like a proper bear, even though Merida wasn't a bear. And Merida acts all smartass because her mom gave her poisonous berries and water with worms in it. Gee, Merida, that's bad, yes, but maybe your mom wouldn't fuck up if you didn't turn her into a wee. And why does Merida want her mom to act like a bear? The movie never gave me an explanation. The scene where Merida needs to convince the clans to stop fighting, which they kind of fight out of nowhere honestly, is honestly bonkers. And not the good kind like Kirby. We're talking about the Disney kind here. Merida is clearly talking in a different direction away from the audience. This is like talking to your best friend, but facing the wall doing so. I guess to calm down, I do want to end talking about this film with the positives. Both of Merida's parents are good and enjoyable. My favorite moment from both Fergus and Eleanor was the fight scene where Fergus fights the other clans and then Eleanor pulls him by the ear.
Oh, I'm sorry, love. I didn't, but yes, dear.
And the music and visuals actually do look good. Then again, Sing also used good music and visuals, so I guess that isn't a defense. This part is funny.
I knew it! Yeah!
The guys are all happy and such, and then they see the bear and get all like, ah! But the arrow scene is still a defense. Definitely Merida's best and only good scene. Brave is a 1 out of 10 and not a 0 out of 10 because I at least enjoyed a couple of the characters and a couple of scenes. Still not a good film though. It's a film that I can't bear.
Da-da!
Can you believe that DreamWorks sung so low, people? Look, I tried to be nice to this in hopes that maybe people were treating this film too harshly. But no, it really is that bad. It bastardized the characters that we know and love for petty jokes. Hey, Harold dies in this movie. Let's make jokes for his final moments before he dies!
Put your hat back on, fool.
Did Harold really need to die? Like, you could have just killed him off in the second movie for this plot to roll. And it's not so much that this movie doesn't tell jokes, it's that 95% of the jokes are distasteful. Wanna see Shrek kill someone when he knights them?
I knight thee.
No, you don't. And you also don't want to see Shrek throw a wine ball to knock a ship down that burns up. Oh, goody. Oh, so Shrek is gonna be a father. Are baby ogres interesting?
They extra cry, and they extra poop.
Nope! Also, there's a part of the movie where we see Donkey with his kids, a continuation of the credits scene from the previous Shrek film, which is a nice touch, but then Donkey makes this stupid statement.
You see, when a man has a certain feelings for a woman...
I know how it happened.
I just can't believe it. How does it happen?
You have fucking kids! You should know how this works by now! Arthur is a boring, bland character that we spend so much time on the movie on, and Harold thinks he is perfect to run the kingdom? Stop the car! What has he done to be worthy of a king? Lance was a better fit. Arthur is just a wimp that is a nobody who does nothing. Oh, that speech that he does that gets every villain on the good side? No, not like one or a couple of villains. No, it's every single villain. There is nothing about it that states, oh yeah, Arthur now makes sense to be king. The only reason that he's king is because he's Fiona's cousin. I didn't even realize that was the reason, honestly, until my recent watch through because this film was so boring. Oh my god! My favorite thing about Puss and Donkey is the fact that they had literally no substance in the movie, so the people behind this decided to give them a pointless buy swap story. Cool, I guess, even if it amounts to nothing. Merlin is an annoying guy who is a stupid wit.
Just thought I might help set the mood.
You're Shrek 3! Nobody cares! Merlin is a stupid-ass wizard that does nothing. I would rather watch the Merlin from The Sword in the Stone, which was Disney's most boring canon film for the record that I hate. Most of the characters in Shrek the Third do nothing. Actually, everyone does nothing. I hope you love fart and pee and poof and barf jokes because the movie has a lot of those.
Whoa! Whoa!
It's for the poopies.
Ew! Wait, babies poop?
Everyone poops, Beauty.
Charming! Speaking of charming, he's the worst. DreamWorks' worst villain ever. Now, for the record, I do love him in Shrek 2, but that's because the fairy godmother helps guide him to be interesting and not just be a suck-up mama's boy. In this movie, without the fairy godmother, he's just a pathetic, lame-ass villain that has to rely on others that are more interesting than him for help. Farquaad didn't need help besides just background guards. Rumpelstiltskin didn't need help besides just background witches. And Godmother herself is by herself that didn't need help besides just her son. And why is he still evil? I thought Far Far Away Isle confirmed that he was good now. And every villain is bastardized in this film for that lame speech that Arthur does that really felt like a first draft. One speech and it's like, oh, I want to open a spa in France. What's the point of having these interesting villains if they're all gonna get instantly reformed like that? Even other shows like Friendship is Magic and Steven Universe take longer and more realistic or at least better written redemptions. Hell, Dora the fucking Explorer is more mature. Don't even get me started on the terrible Disney princess parodies. If you think they're bad and Ralph breaks the internet, then you haven't seen this movie. You're spoiled if you think that. My favorite joke that they run into the ground is with Princess Aurora. In Shrek 2, they make this joke.
Here comes Sleeping Beauty! Oh, tired old thing.
That's a funny joke because it's a pun on her name, Sleeping Beauty. It also works because the narcolepsy jab is only 5 seconds long. And then we never see her again. I love it. It's
comedy gold.
But oh no! We gotta make Sleeping Beauty, which is not her name by the way. Yes, I get it because of copyright from Disney. It's why Starlight Glimmer from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic wasn't called Aurora like what her original name was gonna be because of Disney copyright. Anyway, Sleeping Beauty is narcoleptic. That is where her joke begins and ends. The only two things to bring up of Snow White is that she has this stupid pop song choice where she sings normally, and then it cuts to her singing Led Zeppelin Immigrant Song. And then it cuts to Barracuda. What does this have to do with anything? And the other is that I sadly believe that this Snow White will still be better than the live-action remake next year. And do I even need to bring up the terrible choice of Live and Let Die with the frog death scene? The first two Shrek films have a godsend soundtrack. This film doesn't. Okay, to calm myself down, I'll give the film this. It's better than both Sing and Brave for that it has a few funny jokes. I like the all-star high school band moment.
This is all indeed a bit unorthodox then.
And even the part with Charming rallying the villains was pretty cool.
There are two sides to every story, and our side has not been told. So, who will join me?
Heck, Gingy and Pinocchio doing the fake lies, well, it was pretty good.
It wouldn't be inaccurate to assume that I couldn't exactly not say that is or isn't almost partially incorrect.
And Larry King is awesome as ever. Like, Doris, we need more Doris. This is great.
Hey, how's it going?
I love Larry King cameos in DreamWorks films. Like, I love the fact that he voices himself as a bee in the Bee Movie, and they make jokes about that. That's great.
You know they have a Larry King in the human world, too.
It's a common name.
No, I mean, he looks like you, and he has a show with suspenders and different colored dots behind him. An old guy glasses, and there's quotes along the bottom from the guest you're watching, even though you just heard him.
Bear Week next week.
Also, Mabel is great.
Where's Doris? Taking the night off.
She's not welcome here, and neither are you.
Look, I promise I won't get angry like this for the rest of the list. It's just that these 3 films are all awful. This one is a 1 out of 10, but it's still a F tier.
Shut the fuck up!
Woo! Yeah! Boss. Baby! That's what I've been waiting for! That's what it's all about! Woo!
Hey Jack, look, it's the Boss Baby! It's your favorite movie! Remember how they had a weird dream sequence but it goes nowhere? Remember how we can't tell what is real or not? Remember when the Boss Baby says, yeah, I'm the baby Jesus? Remember all the poop jokes and how the main characters can't stand each other? And all the outdated references, like how there's a Lord of the Rings reference from 2001's movie, even though this is supposed to take place in the late 80s or early 90s? Don't you love this movie, Jack? Huh? Do you? Yeah, let's just watch the Boss Baby again. I got it from the Red Box. It's about this baby who is a boss, and he's got a little briefcase and a stapler, the whole shebang. He even wears a little suit. Leave it to Hollywood. Long live the king. I'm sorry. I think the editor put the wrong clip in. I said this video was every highest grossing animated movie ranked. We're really going with this? You're really calling this anime? Really? Let's just get through this shit. The animals in this movie are so fake. You could probably film your own pets and get better, more useful conversations for your life than this. Tell stories with them. Hell, I would believe in my own cat talking first before these terrible CGI abominations do. God, I don't even know where to start with my problems. Actually, let's bring up the one actual really funny joke that I love. And it's better than any joke from the original Lion King and even the Timon and Pumbaa show.
Be our
I love this. Not only is it a reference to another film that I love, Beauty and the Beast, but it adds on to that joke slash scene and makes great use of it here. If The Lion King 2019 added more funny jokes like that, this could have been a great film. You know, like the original. But alas, that was the only legit good joke of the movie. But on the other hand, that still makes it funnier than The Boss Baby, because The Boss Baby only had ironic enjoyment, while this one had an actual joke. Okay, I know where I want to start with the criticisms now, and that's with Rafiki's stick. Yeah, this is actually the best way to start. So, Jon Favreau, the director of this movie, wanted to get rid of Rafiki's stick because he claimed it was unrealistic. But then he gets the stick later on in the movie, and Jon even likes to call it Rafiki's lightsaber. No, I'm not making this up.
But he had to have a stick for the fight, so we figured he kept it hidden. It's like his lightsaber.
The point here is that Jon Favreau wanted to make the film more realistic, to the point that he wanted to call this film a hybrid medium. The two actual mediums that they are film and animation. They are not live action. Animation is a medium. Film is a medium. Live action is also a medium, yes, but that doesn't apply to this one. Though if I'm honest, I too thought in 2019 this was live action. And you can blame the marketing of this film for why I thought that. Not helping my point of view is the fact that there actually is one live action shot at the beginning being the sun rising, even though the sky gives the implication that the sun is already up. I hate this movie! And that's my main problem with the film. It tries to be realistic. The original line came from 25 years before this film, never had a goal of being realistic, Its goal was to be entertaining, and it succeeded being the most successful 2D anime film of all time. And oh boy, the remake sadly made more money. A part of me thinks the remake was rushed because the original Lion King took 4 years to make, while the remake only took 2, which is half the length. I noticed a bunch of cuts in this. A lot of the times that the animals talk, they look away from the camera to save money. Anime mouth movement is one of the hardest things to do in animation. When you have the camera face away from the characters, you don't have to waste time animating the mouth movements. Something that the original did not do, for the record. Another cut I noticed was the "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" song. In the original version, Simba could ride ostriches, dodge elephant stomps, stand on top of a giraffe's head, jump on others, and proceed to use said's neck as a slide. All of that the remake doesn't do. The lyric that pissed me off the most was the "Everybody look left, everybody look right." The original version had Simba actually command the animals to go said direction.
Everybody look left, everybody look right.
The remake has Simba just saying it normally with no animals looking in said direction for Simba.
Everybody look left, everybody look right.
And do I need to mention the colors? The original had vibrant colors, not just on the environments, but on the main characters as well. During the "I Just Can't Wait to Be King" song, the colors are more of Simba's perspective. And it looks so beautiful. What's the point of the remake's colors? To state that the world is ugly? Thanks, Lion King 2019, for telling me
the world is cruel.
If I wanted to know that, I would go out and experience that instead of me staying at home making this video. The original film had the directors on it actually going to Africa in the early 90s to study what Africa is like. Many shots from the original film were based on real-life environments from Africa. The irony of calling the 2019 version the more real-life one is that the original film actually went to said locations. That one is closer to being live action than the one that people consider live action. The whole 2019 film, ignoring that opening shot, was filmed inside a studio using VR. All the backgrounds are CGI, including the animals, so none of it is real. But once again, before doing research for this 10th anniversary video, I honestly thought that they were real African backgrounds. Have you seen real-life African backgrounds? They look gorgeous! Use them! Don't make shit up! Making it more realistic also ruins the characters. Why is Nala more cautious than a wet blanket in this version compared to the original?
Isn't it great? We could get in big trouble. I know.
Simba, get down. It could be dangerous.
Danger? Ha! I laugh in the face of danger.
Wait till everyone finds out you've been here all this time. And your mother. What will she think?
Simba, we need to leave. Scar has taken over with the hyenas. You have to take your place as king.
You know, you're starting to sound like my father.
Good. At least one of us does.
You know, now you're starting to sound like my father.
Good. I'm glad one of us does.
Because it's more realistic. Why do Mufasa and Scar look the same? Because it's more realistic. Why is Shenzi super serious? Because it is realistic. Why is Zazu unfunny? Because it's more realistic. Why does everyone but the 2 actors that were in previous Lion King products mispronounce Zazu's name? Realism. The necking joke?
2 giraffes were caught necking.
Realism. Why is Pumbaa gray and not bright red? Realism. Why does Scar sound like Plankton during the Long Live the King portion and Simba delaying his "No!"
Long live the king!
Realism. But the realism aspect doesn't also work when the director flat out admits that he wanted this to be a documentary, and also blatantly point out scenes that weren't realistic in the original, yet still does the same thing here. I'm not joking, he still does that. Like, he points out this isn't realistic at all, but still adds it in the film anyway. What is your logic, John? I wouldn't mind a Lion King documentary, honestly. Animal documentaries are a thing. Heck, one of my favorite pieces of media of all time is a documentary. The Walking with Dinosaurs documentary from BBC 1999. That documentary is more or less what Jon Favreau wanted The Lion King 2019 to be. If you want to remake The Lion King into a documentary, that's perfectly fine. You can even try what the original Surf's Up did, where it's a mockumentary film. Instead, you just steal its technology aspects and add VR helmets to yours. Here's an interesting criticism to give this film that is incorrect by audiences. The criticism is targeted at nostalgia. See, the issue with this film is that it relies entirely on the original film. If you didn't have the original film, you wouldn't have a reason to see this movie. There is a film, however, that does cash in on nostalgia, but actually makes it work. That, oddly enough, is the Super Mario Bros. Movie from earlier this year. because even though it homages and references other games, it has an original and new story to go with it and in a new medium. This remake, however, does not. Going back to nostalgia, if that's your defense for this movie, why not bring back more of the original actors? I get that you can't bring back the original SageFroppy since she passed away a year after the original film came out, but was there any reason for not bringing back Jeremy Irons?
I look forward to seeing it. They haven't approached me yet. I don't know who else will play Scar. Maybe some whippersnapper.
I have no idea how you pronounce the replacement, by the way. Why was James Earl Jones the only person that you wanted to bring back? They didn't even ask Jeremy Irons, even though he would have been fine doing it again. Like, he stated he would have loved to come back for this. Rule of thumb, anytime that an actor wants to come back to voice a character in a product that they previously did, but the studio doesn't even try to ask, is automatically bad. Everything from Powerpuff Girls 2016 to Scoob and even Velma, it's a clear sign that this is a bad decision. The only time that this could work is if the original actor is dead, part of a controversy, or even just says no. This all wouldn't bar me, except this remake is very boring and is a half hour longer than the original version. What is it with every single live-action remake that Disney makes being longer than their original versions and add nothing new or better? Hans Zimmer wanted to fix the score. Ah yes, because I would totally trust a guy to fix your score after working on this movie.
Yes, I'm the baby Jesus. The average toddler spends, what, 45 hours a year on the potty? I'm the boss. I don't have that kind of spare time. Cookies are for closers.
I would go over more examples, but we'd be here all day, so let's just use Lion King as a reference. Did we really need a scene of Nala trying to escape Scar? The original simply implied that she needed to find food, but more importantly, help in general. Several scenes are the same parts but made longer. The mouse at the beginning went from 10 seconds in the original to a full-on minute here. There's a scene with Simba chasing a rhino beetle that wasn't needed. They make structural changes. Remember when Timon and Pumbaa were by themselves in the jungle before Simba because they were outcasts? Well, now they're a part of a group of animals for no apparent reason. The log scene where they bop their heads in the original to the beat of the music with Simba growing up along with it now just has them walking across the log normally. Okay, Jon Favreau, this right here should just be a test animation, not the final animation. The remake just removes all of the personality. And despite this film being longer, it cuts out information. Sometimes it's small, like removing the coconut song, but then you cut things out like the stick scene. The irony is, by deleting that important part that Rafiki teaches Simba, you're not gonna learn from your past mistakes. Which is how I feel about Disney's current direction, sadly. A lot of people feel the exact same way. And so many jokes are changed up and ruined.
Remember that those kings will always be up there to guide you.
But I can't see them, Dad.
Like, why? Why change what was already perfect? This film is awful. I go on, but there's way too much shit in this. Literal shit is in this. And seriously, this piece of giraffe shit rolled up by a dung beetle is the highest grossing animated film of all time? And you only called it animated when it started receiving animation awards. I guess I also chose to be that so that Frozen 2 wouldn't be the highest grossing animated film anymore of all time. But yes, Lion King 2019, despite it trying to be live action, is actually an animation. You can go to your zoo and film lions there for a better live-action remake film because that would at least be the correct medium. Side note, does it really matter the medium? I feel like you can make any medium work. No one cares if it's a video game, an animation, a painting, or live action. We just want the product in question to be good.
Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, they're the Marconi family.
The Croods is a movie that exists. I saw this film 9 years ago with my mom on TV once. I didn't remember anything after that. I finally saw it for the first time in 9 years earlier this spring for this video, and my god is it one of the most boring animated films I've ever seen. I fell asleep I think 20 minutes in. I did eventually wake up to see all of it after rewinding a couple of scenes. I was still bored by it. So the main joke of this movie is that these cave people invent basically our modern day things. The logic is like, hey, look, that is like a photograph in our world. They're swimming like what people do today. That egg game is like football. We use fire as well. The animals are on their feet are like shoes. They treat these animals like pets.
I got thoughts like this. I call it a mobile home. Isn't that something?
Also, at one point in the movie, they discover what a joke is, and that's honestly how the writing in this movie feels. It's like the people behind this movie just learned what a joke is. Eep is a bitch that yells at her dad because we need an Act 2 breakup, but I'm all like, he kept you alive for all those years.
We would be dead if we listened to you.
It's like Mulan 2 and Brave again with it being in the past. This war would work better if it was set in the present. Also, I just want to point out that since this film is supposed to take place even before both of those supposed movies, maybe this stupid idea evolved through those two films. But yeah, Eep disrespect to her father concept really annoys me. I get that eventually you need to evolve and such, but you can't really do that if you're dead. I thought that maybe I was too harsh at first making this a F-tier film, but no. I hate it because it's just not that interesting. I heard the sequel was better, but I didn't see that yet. I mean, I like the Nicolas Cage dad. He was kind of fun, I guess. The baby doll was kind of cute. I like the son. The grandma was alright. Yeah, let's just move on to the next movie.
Slap, slap. Slap, slap.
Secret Life of Pets is a perfectly fine movie for the whole family. But just because it's fine doesn't mean I like it. God, this movie bored me so much upon rewatch. It's very predictable and it made me sleepy. The plot is just Toy Story, but instead of toys, it's just a movie with talking animals in New York City. Oh my, how original! And I don't really care for our two dog leads, Max and Duke. They're both assholes to each other at first and then bore me for the rest of the movie. There are some things in the movie that I like, most notably Snowball. This bunny kicks ass, and honestly, the society of the animals that have no owners at all are a lot more interesting than the actual plot of the movie. Again, it's just a watered down Toy Story. The hawk was pretty cool. I like the sausage party. There are jokes that really do drag the movie down, unfortunately. Lots of poop and pee jokes. Yeah, let's pause the movie to have a cat play with bunny feces that we see the bunny actually just poop out. I feel just like Sing, they play all the jokes in the trailer, but unlike Sing, watching The Secret Life of Pets doesn't make me want to hate animals. Hooray! Plus, the animals in Slop are cute somehow. Oh yeah, that's right. The acronym for this movie is SLOP. That's kind of a curse. Yeah, it's kind of amazing to me that The Secret Life of Pets and Sing came out the exact same year, but the animals in Slop look much cuter than the other 4-letter film. How did you manage to do that, Sing? And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this film. Let's just keep going. Oh, wait, there's one more joke. There is also a joke of the dogs kicking a turtle like in Super Mario Bros. Haha.
My fame, my fortune, my hair.
So last time that I put this movie on a ranking, it was at F tier. And let's just say that people weren't the biggest fans of what I had to say. That's fair. It's been a whole year since my Disney ranking. Let's watch it again and see if it got better.
2 hours later.
Perhaps I treated Tangle too harshly. It was definitely not meant to be an F tier film. That was too mean. But I can't help but put it on the D tier. Who knows? Maybe another rewatch could raise it to C tier. And then another rewatch could raise it to B tier. Another to an A. And then finally to an S tier 10 out of 10 for this 2010 film. But alas, I can't rewatch the film that many times right now because
that's not enough time.
My friends were right. I was way too mean originally, and there were many points that didn't make sense in the context of the film. But hey, at least it's not a 1 out of 10 anymore. It's a 2 out of 10.
The fun has been doubled!
So let's try again and do a better job reviewing this movie. Let's start with the bad. Most of the stuff that I said pacing-wise prior still applies here. It is not good with that stuff. To me, I wasn't the biggest fan of the pacing. And I still think the film would be better if we didn't know at the start that Rapunzel was the lost princess. I think it would have been more fun if we, the audience, discovered that Rapunzel was the lost princess the same time that she did. Sometimes we would spend too much time on a certain scene like when Eugene and Rapunzel split up, and I wish we had more of the bar guys. Those guys were excellent, and the villains still suck. Mother Gothel is such a bore, and I hate how she is in Dream Light Valley. Frollo is better. And honestly, I was also too harsh to the Hunchback of Notre Dame on my ranking list as well. We'll also bump up a letter grade because the Patrick Star guard is funny.
Well, that's ugly.
The two henchmen suck. They're called the Stabbing Brothers. I literally didn't know that until doing research on this video. Why are they in the villain's book, but not the hyenas from The Lion King? You're telling me that these two generic assholes are much more bringing up in the official Disney villain's book more than the fucking hyenas? But this film has good stuff. The songs are nice and Maximus is immediately pretty funny. I totally want this horse as my stallion, even though I still wish that Patrick Warburton could voice him. Come on, Disney, you let him voice a horse 6 years earlier in Home on the Range.
And that's when the horse whip comes out, and he's not shy about using it either.
Horse whip. What should I do?
Run!
Okay.
Yeah, run like the wind!
Giving Maximus a voice would have been better. Kind of like what they did with the goat in Wish. Say that Maximus got injured. Rapunzel will use her hair to heal him, and that will also give him a voice. That'd be perfect. And the animation is pretty to look at, even though I think it would have looked better in 2D. Have you seen its TV show? It had better animation than the movie, honestly. Even had better writing, until the 3rd season where it became complete garbage, but that's a story for next year. And damn it, I love Eugene and Rapunzel's relationship. It's so cute, and I love the lanterns. Aw, such a cute scene. I also love the joke where Eugene correctly knows where the crown is at first, causing Rapunzel to attack him again with a frying pan.
I've hidden it. Somewhere you'll never find it.
It's in that pot, isn't it?
You know, if I had a nickel for every blonde princess that had a frying pan for their main weapon, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird to happen twice, right? Also, the sneeze joke is funny. Classic. Yeah, this film should be higher, but I'm too lazy to fix the Riken, and I've been working on this for over a year. I just realized I have 5 films in a row that start with the letter T. Lol.
We're spies, and that's no disguise.
Dude, Cars 2 is stupid bad, but in a fun way. It's a -2 out of 10. Get it? It has the same number of points as the actual film. I love how the actual spies are dumber than Mater himself. There's not much to add here that I didn't say for my Pixar path on it last year. Yeah, some films I'm just gonna tell you to see Pixar paths. Now if you excuse me, this is shit. Give me the best spy animation. I said the best spy animation! That's better.
Oh, so the surprise is everyone left.
I said most of what I wanted to say for Coco on my Kids' Choice Awards video, so there really is not much new to say. Miguel's family is awful, regardless if it's the ones that are still alive or in the afterlife. The dog is pointless, and the cat would have made for a better animal sidekick. The villain could have still ripped up the pitcher and won. Why doesn't he do that? That's frustrating. The song is nice, but only good for certain moments. Banning music forever is beyond stupid. Yeah, that's about it. If you love this, good on you. I don't care.
Wave! Wave! No! Giant wave!
Ice Age The Meltdown is a stupid, unfunny movie that I already talked about earlier this year on my Blue Sky ranking. There is nothing of substance for me to add. It has a sick sense of humor thinking that someone innocent dying is a joke. It has Crash and Eddie. You know what's sad? Every other creature in real life is extinct, but possums still exist. Why didn't the possums go extinct? I hate Crash and Eddie. I want them to die for real, not play dead. Did you know these two were inspired by Timon and Pumbaa as well as Bart Simpson? Yeah, no. Did you know according to the Ice Age Wiki, Crash and Eddie can be told apart from each other by these physical traits? Crash has blue eyes and a flatter nose with ridges, while Eddie has brown eyes and a pointier nose with a brown stripe.
It's getting so you have to kill yourself to sell a story around here.
If it's not fun, why bother?
You know, it's always funny when people say that this was the only good movie to come out of the Despicable Me franchise, when I just find this film to be very generic. Like it has the least amount of life to come from it. I already talked about this film enough for my ranking from earlier this year in the Kids' Choice Awards one. We still got 28 more films to talk about, and yeah, we're not even halfway there. So let's move on, because there's going to be some more interesting films down the line.
Shut up, Icy Hot!
You know what's funny? The best Ice Age movie ever, the original, did not make it on this list. The worst Ice Age movie ever, Collision Course, also did not make it on this list. And yet, all the ones in between did make it on this list. Weird. But anywho, yeah, the 4th one still sucks. It's not as bad as The Meltdown because that one had more jokes about death per se, which kind of make that film uncomfortable. This one is kind of just more blander. I did a whole Blue Sky ranking earlier this year, so I said most of my thoughts on this movie already. But I guess I'll repeat some parts for this. I don't really care about this film at all. I really hate Peaches the character because she's just an annoying bitch teenager. Hey, she's a teenager now, so let's do all the teenager cliches with her. There's a mole that Josh Gad voices named Lewis. He's an alright character. I liked him for what we got, but for some reason this is the only film that he's in. Which is strange because all the other characters get to return. Diego's girlfriend and Sid's grandmother get to return for the next movie. So why not the only actual interesting character? Oh my god, I almost forgot that Diego got a girlfriend from this movie. Her name is Shira. Okay, I was able to guess her name correctly this time without looking it up. I still don't memorize a thing about her. Like, can you even name a single quote from her? Go on, I dare you without looking it up. I said all the stuff I wanted to say about Wanda Sykes' grandmother character. Like, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure Fox only added her because they were like, hey, Wanda Sykes is popular, and we want to add her in the movie somehow, so let's invent a character for her. Even the scrap bits were starting to get a little bit annoying at this rate. This time, he can terraform the Earth because he's God now, and Manny is Jesus.
Okay, so tell me, when exactly will I be allowed to hang out with boys?
When I'm dead, plus 3 days, just to make sure I'm dead.
I mean, what else does this line imply? They're animals. Yes, humans are animals, but humans, mammoths, squirrels, whatever the fuck Scrat is, they're not the same thing. I guess the pirates in themselves are pretty cool. Like, I like the Peter Dinklage monkey. I thought he was pretty awesome, and I really love the pirate song. And the animation actually does look very good. Not as good as the 5th movie, oddly enough, but I thought this one was passable. And I do like the idea of Manny, Sid, and Diego all being together. I just wish that Sid's grandmother was not there. Otherwise, the ice part would have been pretty fun. And I love how the siren tricks Scrat into the nut thing. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this one. Let's keep going.
Boring!
Okay, so to get Nezza out of the way, this was a hard film to find, despite being one of the most successful anime movies of all time. It made over $742 million. You'd think this would be easier to find. One of my friends recommended a pirated website, but yeah, I'm not going there. Besides, that site that he recommended me had viruses, so no. I would try it, but I can't. I did eventually find, like, the full film, but it was in, like, a bad quality, so I couldn't really get the best of the ideology, I guess, out of it. But, okay, so from what I was able to gather on the film, Nezza is a 2019 3D Chinese film about spirits and dragons and, reincarnation?
I'm lost!
Okay, even if I did find some high-quality footage of the film, I feel like I would be lost not being able to follow what was going on. Even though I can understand every word that they're saying in this dub. These bad guys release some chaos pearls to absorb energy. The villain looks very generic. There's a death fake out in this and also some weird strange magic. And then there's this weird one kid that has these weird eyes. Like the animation for the eyes is just off. Yeah, I was very bored by the movie and what I was able to see wasn't good. I mean, I at least like the animation and music, but that's pretty much it. I'll be honest about Puss in Boots, the original film is an okay film. I don't think there's any reason to watch it nowadays, because it's got a much better sequel. Everyone remembers the sequel that's just more interesting to watch. I watched it recently with my friend Jackson, and we even saw the sequel together in theaters. We didn't see the original in theaters, we just saw it recently in general. I never saw the original growing up in theaters because it didn't interest me. It was around that time period where animation was kind of downfall for me. And if I did see this, yeah, I would agree because this one is just boring. Which is strange because both this one and the sequel are more or less the same plot, this one just has less effort put into it. And while the sequel didn't make enough money per se, I think I'll throw it on this list and show you where I would put it. But for right now, let's talk about the original. Kitty Saw Paws, I think it was alright. I do think she's a good additional character. I just think she's just a lot better fleshed out in the sequel. The villains in this were alright. I didn't hate them, but I didn't think they were the best things ever. I've only known Puss for the past 3 Shrek films, and that's kind of how I'm used to him. So him getting a spin-off without the Shrek characters, kind of a jarring thing. And I bring this up because it has a tone issue. You see, when it comes to Shrek, what Shrek is known for is taking fairy tales and making parodies off them. That is Shrek's bread and butter. That's what makes it good. Puss in Boots also has fairy tales, but unlike Shrek where it parody/mocks them, Puss in Boots plays it straight. And that's what kind of made me lose interest. I don't know, I think you could do a good Jack and the Beanstalk parody. You got the goose being big, that's a start. You could do more like that. Also, Puss doesn't really have much of a character arc like he does in the sequel. He's a jerk in this one, and still a jerk at the end. I guess he does learn a little bit of a lesson, but it's nowhere as impactful as the sequel. But you see, the worst part is Humpty Dumpty. What the fuck is this villain? Oh! Hey! What the fuck is this villain? Puss, I was there for the whole time! And then they proceed to make new animations and show the flashback. What? You can't cheat your audience like that. That is so stupid! This works better with Death because when you actually do rewatch the movie, it turns out he actually is there in the background. They don't make any new animations or replay old scenes. They actually have you want to go back through the film to see that again. And it's worth it because it's such an amazing film that you want to see multiple times. Hell, I saw it twice in theaters. I guess if I could give Humpty Dumpty credit is that he's a good setup for Death later on. basically they said, let's do Humpty Dumpty again, but do it right. It's so weird that the sequel is much better than the original. This kind of feels like those 90s or 2000s Disney cheap rules, where the sequels are just so much worse than the originals. Except this time around, the original is not that good, but the sequel is much, much better. How about that? I mean, I don't hate this film, but once again, I have no reason to ever watch this film again, and I think it's a film that both Jack and I agree on. Just watch the sequel, and again, I'll talk about where I would put that, but you have to wait and see.
Twitter stinks. I'm leaving.
I just got done rewatching this movie, and I barely remembered anything about it. Moana is just an average film from Disney. It's just an average film in general, never mind just Disney. I don't hate the film, it's not a terrible thing, but it's not something I like to go back to and watch. I think the reason is because this film is very derivative. Like, it feels like it's copying other Disney canon movies that came out prior. It's a film that takes place in a Polynesian environment. Kind of like Lilo and Stitch. It has a dad that doesn't approve of his daughter's lifestyle. Kind of like The Little Mermaid. It also has a chicken as the worst character. Kind of like...
You gotta be ready to listen to your children, even if they have nothing to say.
Speaking of the chicken, I have no idea why he's in this film. The film gives some lip service saying that he's in the film because every Disney princess has to be A, born from royalty, and B, have an animal's pet sidekick. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, okay, why does it have to be the chicken? I can't find the teaser for this, but I remember there being a teaser about the pig and how he was a better character for Moana, and I'm thinking to myself, why was the pig not the sidekick to be used in the film? That's usually the type of character that would be the sidekick. The pig has more expression, the pig has more emotion, the expressions for him were better, he even looks cute as a whole. I legit think the chicken doesn't have a brain. I mean, for the beginning, it's not an issue, but when the chicken actually goes on the trip with Moana, I had to ask why the people behind this movie wanted this. Past Disney characters like Mushu were better animal comic reliefs for their personality. Hell, the cricket from Mulan had better emotion than the chicken, and he was also a character that couldn't say a single word. Why don't they just eat the chicken? They can make it Maui's boat snack. This film does a bunch of other cliches as well. It's a road trip movie, but instead of it being an actual road, it's the ocean. So most of the film is blue. And unlike Ralph Breaks the Internet, where they do different types of blue, the blues here kind of blend together. I mean, yes, the ocean does have a different color feel at times, but it's not really good to look at. This doesn't interest me. I don't get why I'm not a big fan of this trip, because I don't mind ocean journeys. I mean, one of my favorite video games of all time, and my favorite technical Zelda game, is The Wind Waker, which is basically an entire ocean thing. I don't get why I like it there, but I don't here. Maybe it's the characters. Moana and Maui are just fine. Like, I don't love them, but I also don't hate them. Moana is not the worst Disney princess ever made. Like, she's no Merida, but I find her to be the most generic of the Disney princesses. It's also kinda strange that this was the film to create the trend of no Disney villains like ever. Since this film, Disney has had no villains from their canon. I'm being serious. Maybe Disney's film later this year, Wish, will be the film to finally change this and finally bring back their villains that are actually good and not twist villains or redeemable villains. It'd be nice for that to change. I want the 90s villains back again. Is it too much to ask for the Renaissance? Oh, and this film has an Act 2 breakup because of course it does. It's kinda pointless as well. Maui gets his hook broken and then he just comes back at random like 5 or 10 minutes later. The ocean kinda cheats, like, for the most part. Whenever Maui tries to escape Moana's boat, the ocean brings him back. But the only time where the ocean lets him go is when the Act 2 breakup happens. Hey ocean, why is it the one time that you don't grab Maui who is trying to escape is during the Act 2 breakup? You could have easily grabbed him there. Yeah, it's just another magical adventure, low fantasy thing, but again, the rules are barely explained, so anything can happen, which kinda makes me lose tension or any interest. Oh, the ocean will be able to bring Maui, Moana, and the chicken all together, no matter what happens, except this one random time to make things more dramatic. A bunch of random things happen in the film, like this could be considered a random events plot, mostly because in the ocean, the locations are all kind of vast. There's no, like, connection. Zootopia had a better connection to this. I mean, Moana has these, like, coconut creatures that kind of remind me of Shy Guys for some reason. You could honestly cut them out and nothing would change because they don't do that much in the film. There's a giant crab-like creature that they go against. He's kind of unmemorable and very short, like we barely spend any time with him.
Did you like the song?
You shut the fuck up!
Cook? Anyone can cook.
That was his mistake.
I haven't watched Big Hero 6 since my Disney ranking video from last year, because there really is no reason for me to watch it again. It's a film that I didn't really care about originally, but I think it was time to watch it again considering that it's one of the most successful anime movies of all time. Let's watch this film again to see what it's like.
2 hours later.
Alright, I have some updated thoughts now. So the main issue with the film is the tone. It's not so much that it's bad with it, it's just that this depressing tone made me not enjoy the film. It's not so much that it's automatically bad. I've seen other pieces of media make drama work like Madoka Magica and Avatar off the top of my head. I think Big Hero 6 takes it too far, or makes it too realistic. You know what? It's that answer. I have lost a family member in the past, but it was due to medical reasons and not by some accident. But the way that Hiro acts in this movie towards Tadashi, like his death, that's kind of how I felt too. And it's not a pleasant feeling per se. If I want to talk about anything personal with this movie, I'll talk about the fact that this was the first film I ever saw as an adult in theaters with 3 of my friends. But I already talked about this in my Disney ranking video. I still think Fred has the best powers, and I want his powers. And Stan Lee, may he rest in peace, is a cool dad in this, even if it is just a cameo at the end of the film. Our main characters can be funny at times, but I still don't find them that memorable. But hey, this time I know their names without looking them up. So take that, Dashie. You can't get mad at me this time. Go-Go, Honey Lemon, Wasabi, and Fred. Ha! And also take that, me from a year and 13 days ago from today. I actually paid attention more this time. Anything else to add? The villain is still a twist villain, but I don't think he's the worst twist villain ever. You can't be worse than Hans. It's kind of weird that they never found Callahan's body when the building caught on fire. Like, I assume they found Tadashi's and Callahan's. Like, how did they not report his death? Whatever, I guess that's a nitpick. It doesn't really matter in the end. Baymax is easily the best part of the film. Every single line from him I enjoy and laughed at almost all of them. At least in the moments when he is trying to be funny. More drunk Baymax in the future, please. It'd be sweet if his Disney Plus show had an episode like that. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's still a Disney Plus show you should probably check out at some rate because it's also good. It's actually better than the actual film. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got with this one. I did enjoy the film a little more this time around as opposed to last time. And this won't be the last time that I'll watch this film. Like how I said, watching Moana for this will be my last. I'll watch Big Hero 6 again next year when I review the television series for my DuckTales to DuckTales series. I still have not seen that series yet, but everyone likes to tell me, well, just my friends mainly, they keep recommending this series to me because they claim it's good, and hopefully it's as good as they claim. Because if they say it's just like the movie, then that's probably not going to be for the best. But we all know that every Disney show isn't always the same as their films. Maybe the fortune teller Doug could tell me if this show is good or not. That would be nice. Alright, so Sony only had one film to make it on this list, and let's hope it's a good one. And they made a lot of great films over the years, like Mitchell's vs. the Machines, Arthur Christmas. Those are films that people really love. But there was that one film from 2018 that everyone loved and praised and made tons of money. Like, oh my god, this film made so much money. And of course, that film is Hotel Transylvania 3.
What? What? What?
My back!
What?
Seriously? This movie? I mean, it's an alright movie, but it's nothing special. Seriously, everyone was talking about Spider-Verse in 2018. Even before it came out, people were hyped for it. And it has an amazing sequel. And yet, Hotel Transylvania 3 is the only Sony movie that made it on this list. People spent more money to see this over Spider-Verse. How? How does that happen? And these films came out the same year. To be fair, you could have had way worse films to make more money. So I shouldn't be too mad for Hotel Transylvania 3 making the most money. I have never seen any of the Hotel Transylvania movies before doing this video. I only saw them for the first time ever 3 months ago, and they're alright. And no, I have not seen the fourth movie. It wasn't required. I saw the first two so that way I will understand the third movie, and no, I have not seen the Disney show on them, and it's not part of DuckTales to DuckTales. If I ever do a second season of that show, then I'll add the Hotel Transylvania show on there. My favorite thing about all three of the Hotel Transylvania movies are Jonathan and Mavis. Their relationship is adorable. I love every single second with them. Mavis and Jonathan just bounce off well with each other. Like in the second movie when John takes Mavis to a convenience store and the smallest things make her happy. It was really cute. I think what makes the third one the worst of the three movies is the fact that the two aren't really well used. Oh sure, when we do get them, it's really fun and I love it. Like when they're on the desert island restaurant and the menu is a message in a bottle. That was cute. But I noticed that the third film has them used the least. Even the first film used them more, and the point of that film was them meeting each other for the first time. I will say one thing, I find it funny that this film was released on Friday the 13th in July 2018, and the movie takes place on the same day. That's kinda cute. I have other issues with the film, and this applies to all three, and is easily the worst part, the gross out. Sony is known for having gross out in their films. Lots of pee and poop and fart jokes in these Hotel Transylvania movies. I recall each film having at least one fart joke. Haha, Frankenstein took his butt off and farted to make it look like the mummy farted. Haha, Dracula farts because garlic gives him indigestion. Also, they have a part where Mavis farts. How to kill a waifu 101. Make her fart. The big dog that Dennis brings along doesn't really do anything in the movie. He just wears a disguise and calls himself Bob. The werewolf and his wife drop their 300 kids off to a daycare that's on the cruise, so they get to act like werewolves now or something. They barely did anything with it, so I wasn't that interested. Then they get paralyzed by Abraham and then do nothing for the rest of the movie. This weird green like Jello monster makes a kid and a dog in this movie. Like he takes a part of him and morphs them into said objects. Oddly enough, my favorite monster was the Invisible Man.
Drac, snap out of it.
Wait, I've always wanted to do this. Wake up! Wake up, Drac! Snap out of it!
Hey, cut it out!
Who do I need to impress? Hey, isn't that Captain Erica?
Oh, God, no, what?
Oops, no, not her. Hey, Murray here may be from Egypt, but you're the one in denial. You guys get that? Ow!
I thought I was gonna hate him since he has no animation but just glasses, but they gave him funny enough dialogue that he was able to be an entertaining character. There's a part in the movie where the dog gets him with the saliva and we see his head a bit, and yes, that's David Spade doing the voice, also known as the best Disney princess, Kuzco! I thought that Frankenstein's monster was really enjoyable, and I enjoyed Mel Brooks as Dracula's dad. There's a random kraken that appears near the end of the movie. I thought he was fun. Everyone talks about the Macarena song and how it's out of place, and I agree, but I thought that Bruno Mars' use of the 24 Karat song was worse. Like, Dracula does not have gold, so why is it being played? I don't know the reason. The villain is very meh, he's just a typical vampire hunter, nothing special, and him in the machine doesn't really make things better, and his great-granddaughter is one of the most obvious setups for a character ever. Dracula zinged her, so obviously they're gonna get married at the end. I was legit shocked, however, how the movie just ends after she says yes to get married. Like, I'll give the movie that. That caught me off guard. Speaking of the ending, I love these credits, and I think that the film as a whole, all three of them, not just the third one, would have been better if they used this style. But no, we can only have 4 films in the 2010s be 2D theatrical. Everyone else gotta be 3D. Also, why is this film called Summer Vacation? There's no monster pun to it. You could have easily called it Ghoul Cruise. That at least sounds cute. Wait, were there ghosts in this franchise? Even though we're not halfway done with this list, I feel like this is the most average film for this whole list. I don't love this film, nor do I hate it. The film is just in the middle for me. If my friends were streaming this on a Discord server, I would definitely join just to have fun with it. But I would never go out of my way to watch these again. They weren't that special. Like, I wouldn't watch these for myself. Not even for Halloween. If I want to see a house full of monster creatures come together in funny shenanigans, I'll just watch Ruby Gloom. It's a lot funnier, more cute, and far less gross out. It's more my thing than Hotel Transylvania.
Spyro, it's great to see you, but I've got to go.
I'm glad that both of the How Do You Train Your Dragon sequels were able to be on this list, because they're both really amazing and much better than the original film. I don't like the original, but that's a discussion for another day. In this sequel, I really do like how we get to explore more of the Dragon World. I'm glad we finally get to see Hiccup's mom, and she's pretty cool, and we even get to see her interact with her husband. You'd think that would just be all yelling and stuff, or just them being strict, you know, because she's been gone all these years, but then Stoic says these beautiful words.
You're as beautiful as the day I lost you.
That had me in such emotion. It was a very beautiful moment. And it's surprising coming from Stoic because I hated him so much in the first movie. Like, I'll be honest, I think he's a worse dad than Buck Pluck. But again, this is a story for another day. And the scene of Toothless killing Stoic, man, that scene. Like, obviously it wasn't intentional. He was just hypnotized by the big bad dragon and the human villain controlling all the dragons. So yeah, upon rewatch, this is still a pretty good film. I don't think I would consider this as high as I used to. Like, I wouldn't put it as high as I did on my top 10 best anime movies of the 2010s list. But still, it's a pretty good film, and I don't think it's the weakest of the franchise. Oh yeah, before I forget, I think the side characters were also better this time around as opposed to the first one, where they were just so blank. Yeah, you know what? That's the best word to describe him there. Blank. Anywho, I love this film, and I think it's overhated.
Tartar sauce, the lock is still frozen.
I'm just gonna let Once Upon a Studio sum up my thoughts on Frozen.
Do you think all the villains will show up? Not all.
Am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here?
Surprisingly, I don't have much to add to Frozen 2 that I didn't say earlier this year on my Kids' Choice Awards video. I still think the film was funny, the documentary showed me a lot of the animation sides to this, how it was rushed yet ended up being the highest grossing anime movie of all time. Okay, second highest. Lost in the Woods is beyond hilarious, and I love how it's Dipper from Gravity Falls singing it. The film is gorgeous to look at, it just has a bit of disappointment in the story, but at least there's no frustrating villain or protagonist to deal with. Trust me, those are the things to piss me off the most, having both be bad. Which, if we count Elsa as the protagonist in the first one, then the first film has both of those problems. And also, just like my original Disney ranking and the Kids' Choice Awards, this film was right next to Frozen, but one step above and one ranking letter above. How about that? Though yes, problems still exist in this sequel. Why shouldn't Elsa destroy Arendelle? The city is empty! Destroying it will allow the sins of the past to be wiped away, allowing the people to build a better future. No one's there, so everyone's gonna be fine. You're not, like, killing anybody. Also, how was Elsa able to send snow messages? They never showed her doing that prior. Okay, I can let that power slide, but it going right to Anna and Anna knowing the answer right away is a giant leap of logic, especially since Elsa didn't know the exact location of Anna. It makes no sense other than, we ran out of time for a proper reason. Sheesh. Elsa had no idea what to do here. You know, if you wanted to figure out what you were supposed to do, Elsa, you should have asked my fortune-telling friend Doug. He would have told you to break the dam. You didn't have to freeze yourself to send a confusing message to your sister. Anywho, let's move on with our lives. Nacho, man. Despicable Me 2 is definitely a little bit better than the original, and I think it's just kind of a little more fun. I love the villain. I do like some of the Minions stuff, like when they turn purple, but I wouldn't go out of my way to say it's like the greatest film ever. But it is good what we got, and the Minions are definitely better here this time around than in the original. Also, I don't know why, but I really want a nacho hat, but discount the guacamole because I hate guacamole. I did enjoy Lucy as a new character. I think she's fun and interesting, and she makes a good mother figure, even though I think the third one does a little bit better of a job with it, but as an introduction, it's good. The Anti-Villain League stuff, it was okay. It's not the best thing in the world, it's just not that interesting to begin with. Everyone there is just bland, forgettable. The only reason I remember this one guy, Ransbon, is because of the whole bottom bit from the Minions. This is the film that made me realize that Dr. Nefario is kind of a useless character. Like, in all of the Despicable Me movies, you could cut him out and nothing would really change. The only one he has actually some sort of impact is the first one, when he gets rid of the girls. But even the girls could have disappeared in any other way. Then again, I think I know why he's frozen in the third one. Look up Russell Brand and oh boy, I'm gonna regret everything I've ever said now. Anyways, I like the purple Minions going wah, wah. Also, I don't care what people say, the Beto meme Minion is funny and I still like it. El Macho and El Polo are fun. I do love how El Macho was inspired by Gru at one point. He wants Gru to help out with all the evil destruction until Gru says, nah, I'm a family man now, I don't want to do that. Which kind of causes El Macho to go crazier, and you know what? I'm okay with that, that's kind of cool. It's a good film, but just doesn't give me a lot to talk about, so let's move on.
2 tickets to Minions, the Rise of Gru, please.
Hey, Rebeccah, a letter for you.
For me? Thanks, Dashie.
Rebeccah and Jackson, you are invited to the Hollywood Walk of Fame for the premiere of Minions: The Rise of Gru.
We love you, Rebeccah Starlight. You're the best. I love your videos. Jackson is such a funny man that should work in Hollywood. Star Giant Productions is the best YouTube channel ever. Rebeccah noticed me. Kawaii.
Listen to our fans, Jack. They love us. Woohoo! They sure do.
Woohoo! Remember our high school adventures, Rebeccah?
Huh? High school adventures?
Yeah, we had fun.
You know these 2 girls, Rebeccah? Who cares? We're famous and they just want attention. Yeah! Come on! We're gonna see this new amazing movie!
Here we go!
2 hours later.
That film was average. Wait, where the hell is everybody?
I see a note.
This is like homework the game.
Shrek Forever After, the final chapter, ended up being a lot better upon rewatch. Like, damn, this film is good. The thing that I love the most is the message, and done really well, that you shouldn't take your own life for granted. Sometimes, if not more often than not, we have everything in life that we already need. I often take my own life for granted, which I really shouldn't do. I should enjoy what I have and how far that I have come. As for Shrek, he has a family, friends, and people that love him. He's respected by everyone, and the only one that can't see that is himself. I know that people hate the scene where he blows up at Fiona.
You mean back before you rescued me from the Dragon's Keep?
Exactly!
But I think it's justified. Here's something worthy of noting. This is the only Shrek film without that stupid plot-mandated friendship failure. The other three have this. 2 was the only one that had justification to do it, to be fair. It's justified because of how depressed and discontent he is with his life. You want proof? There's a scene near the beginning where he shows the one poster on himself. On top of that was the handkerchief that Fiona is supposed to give to the one that rescues her. Shrek didn't even bother looking at that, because he misses his past that much. Rumpelstiltskin is an amazing villain. To address the elephant in the room, before you say, oh, but actually he already was in the third movie, they say his name.
And you, Frumpy Pigskin.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Where's that firstborn you were promised, eh?
Here's my rebuttal. 1, you can have the same name as everyone else. Look everyone, it's the only Jimmy to ever exist. This kid here can't be Jimmy. Yeah, that's a stupid argument. It's okay if 2 or more people in this universe have the same name. I get that for Rumpelstiltskin specifically, it is strange since his name has to be guessed, as in his original fairy tale. But let's be honest, the third movie was wasted potential. So if this is retconning, I'll let it slide as long as it A, makes the story better, and B, is funny. And the new Rumpelstiltskin checks out on both, because he is funny.
Everyone's got their cupcake? Good? Yes, Baba? Good.
It's time to pay the piper.
Griselda, seriously, it's time to pay the piper. Now go get my checkbook. Nobody's smart but me!
And number 2, the 2 of them look nothing alike. He's got great humor. I mean, he literally opens this movie reading a book interpretation of what Shrek's life has been like at an actual library, ripping the pages apart, and then Pinocchio kicks him out.
An ogre, baby!
Finally at peace.
Oh, goody for them!
I'm the real boy.
You wanna be?
Nobody needs your deals anymore, Grumple Stinky Pants!
Great job for Pinocchio for having a happy ending as a puppet after all. He can also be very threatening at the same time. I mean, he won. Got Lillian and Harold wiped from existence, and Rumple took the day of Shrek's birth away, meaning that Shrek doesn't exist. If Rumple chose any other day, he probably would have failed. Even then, all ogres are captured, securing Rumple's win. The swamp where we all love does not exist, as well as everything that we love about Shrek. We even see Shrek trying to dig out his house thinking that Fiona is in there. She's not, and it's nothing but rats. I also want to point out this powerful line.
You never met Fiona. Your kids don't exist.
Yeah, imagine having children and then 4 seconds later, they don't exist because of a deal that you were tricked into. When Shrek escapes, very epically by the way, this leads to one of the best moments in Shrek history. Shrek crying. He doesn't go wah mode, but we see him show tears. And this is the only Shrek thing to ever do that. And there's more layers to this, as we see Shrek go up to the castle that Fiona was in. But just like the swamp, it too is a desolate wasteland. We even see Shrek get the handkerchief that Fiona was supposed to give him. But because Shrek was never born, no one ever rescued her. And before you bring up Prince Charming, I'm pretty sure that Rumple made sure part of the deal was that he could never get far, far away. With Harold and Lillian gone, Charming can't marry anyone. So Rumple wins! And I love how Rumple threatens the witches. Ones that he calls his own family with a fucking glass of water. Because, you know, water melts witches. And the bonus joke is the fact that the one good witch that actually did give Rumpelstiltskin an idea is the one to melt.
Maybe we could hire a professional bounty hunter? You know, actually not a bad idea.
One thing interesting about this film is realizing how insignificant Shrek himself is compared to other ogres. Yeah, he is a big guy, being like 7 or 8 feet tall, but then you realize that the other ogres are much taller and go into the double digits for feet. like up to being 12 feet tall. And there are other things that he didn't realize about himself, like how ogres can actually play horns with their ears by closing their noses.
I didn't know we could do that.
And he uses this knowledge to pass on to Fiona.
I didn't know we could do that.
And I don't just mean the horns, I meant taking life for granted. Shrek learned to never do that, and he learned this from his journey. Like how he fights for the cause, to try to win Fiona's heart all over again. This is good romance. And I love how Fiona is able to live with her curse. She doesn't hide at night anymore. She uses this time to better herself and to free all ogres. Oh, and the action in this movie is spot on. Not one fight scene is bad. By the way, speaking of ogres, I enjoy the rest of the cause. While they're not memorable, it's nice to see what ogres really are like. Though yes, Cookie is the best ogre. He knows how to prepare for a fight.
When the smoke clears. What's this?
That's my chimichanga stand.
We won't be needing that.
Trust me, Fiona, y'all are gonna be really hungry after this ambush, okay?
Give me some of them chimichangas! Man, this film is so amazing.
Hey! Not now, Minion.
Ah, the Minions. Probably the most overhated characters in existence. I don't know. I thought their origin film was good. I love the beginning of all the bad guys that the Minions actually killed throughout time. I like this one cool family that the Minions run into that rob a bank. That was interesting. Kinda wish we could have spent more time with them though. I also enjoyed the new villain, Scarlet Overkill, and her husband Herb is nice. He could have easily just been written as a weak minion for Scarlet, but no, the two seem to be on equal footing on taking over England and winning the Queen's crown. Them being more memorable than Minions 2's villains put this one higher than Minions 2. Speaking of the Minions and their adventure was fun. The main one, that is. I didn't really care for them when the whole group of Minions went around the world like Australia. It just felt kinda pointless, especially since I don't know their names. At least I know Bob, Stuart, and Kevin. I thought the trio were pretty good. And honestly, I originally wanted Gru to invent the Minions as a whole, but for what it's worth, I think we got a funny origin story out of it. Ah, the Simpsons movie. Did you know this movie took 15 years to develop? And I guess it was worth it in the end. It's the only 2D movie on this list that is not from Disney.
I'm the mascot of an evil corporation.
Yeah, let's get that elephant out of the room right now. This is before Disney owned The Simpsons. I mean, this came out in 2017 and Disney didn't own The Simpsons until 2019. As for a theatrical movie adaptation of a TV show, it's fine. The characters are fine, the adventure is fine, the animation is fine. I don't know. I like this movie, but it doesn't give me a lot to talk about. What do you want me to talk about? The fact that Bart's naked in the scene? How Flanders French Fry protects his French fry? Or how he makes a mocha? That's actually a kind of cool mocha. Oh wait, I think that's a hot chocolate, my mistake. The movie is definitely way better than the show nowadays, and I think it's better than the earlier seasons like seasons 1 and 2. The show was in its golden years when it was being developed, like seasons 4 and 5, so I guess I can see why the writing in this movie is somewhat still good. But maybe it's just a me thing, but I prefer the South Park movie because it came out quickly after the show was made. Hell, the SpongeBob movie, the first one, only came out 5 years after the show started. Not 18 years like the Simpsons movie. It came out in 2007 and it started declining, what? A full decade prior, back in 1997? So it's kind of losing relevance at this point. Everyone remembers this movie because of the whole Spider-Pig joke. This is before the Spider-Verse movie became a thing, although I think it existed prior, like Spider-Pig. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm not a big fan of Homer's assholeness in hindsight because in the show he would never get this bad. Well, you know, in the early seasons that were good. Later seasons probably, but everyone also got bad. Oddly enough, Homer is one of the better modern characters compared to Lisa and Marge. So it kind of evens out. Also, this movie inspired that one Under the Dome show that came out like 6 years after this movie. Does anyone even remember that show? I don't know, I barely watched a couple episodes, if that. If you love The Simpsons, I'm pretty sure you're going to love this. It's just a good halfway point on this list. I'll probably watch it again in the future, but only watch it every couple years because it's not the greatest thing in the world. But I didn't think it was that offensive. Also, once again, the South Park movie is a better adult cartoon being put on the big screen. Up is a really fun movie that is good, but nothing really special. I talked about most of what I wanted to in the original Pixar path. The movie is really good. I really loved the first 10 minutes of the film, and it's just a fun time. But what's more fun about this movie is the short that came afterwards, which I never saw prior. It's about old people taking Carl's advice and trying all these wacky hijinks to get out of retirement homes, and it's in 2D. It's beyond hilarious.
Love does not compute.
WALL-E is still a cute, fun little movie about two robots having a romantic relationship with each other. I love the adventure that WALL-E goes to save the Earth and to have a relationship with this robot, Eva. Despite the Earth being dusty, I like how it still looks. I love the Pong joke, the umbrella joke, both on Earth and its robot. Man, a lot of the robots are just fun in this movie. Even Gopher's pretty fun. And Mo, I think, is still great. Yeah, there's a lot of fun characters in this movie. Most of the fun characters are the robots, but do you know what? I think they're well written. I will admit, the beginning of the movie is the best part to me, and then the film for acts 2 and 3, while not bad, weren't as good as the first act. And don't even get me started on the villain. I kinda said everything I wanted to about Otto in my Pixar Path episode of this movie from a couple of years ago, so go watch that if you want to see me talk about this villain more.
Irrelevant, Captain.
What? What? That's not a dog! That's a rat!
Ratatouille got better upon rewatch, but man, there are some things that hold it back from being a perfect 10 out of 10. Oh hey guys, the dad hates how his son is different! I thought Disney learned that Chicken Little was bad. Okay, before you get all angry with me in the comments, DiGiorno isn't as bad as Buckclug. Wait, his name is Django? I'm sorry, I probably mispronounced it. I literally never knew that before doing research. I still don't enjoy how Colette has a weird whiplash of being nasty when she starts training Linguini. I mean, I get the why because she's the only female in the kitchen since Skinner...
No, Mother, it's just the Northern Lights.
No, the other Skinner that Disney owns. Yeah, that one. I'm still not a big fan of cooking.
I hate cooking!
I don't know, cooking was just never really my thing. It still is not my thing. I love eating, but making the food I can't seem to enjoy. Enough of the bad, I want the good. Skinner shenanigans with Gen and Remy are always a fun time.
Got your toque.
This is still a gorgeous film to look at. The Eiffel Tower at night is perhaps my favorite shot in any Pixar film. The music is stunning, especially anything with the accordion. Remy has excellent chemistry with Linguini. I just vibe with the cast as a whole for the most part. And I love the message from Antoine Ego. Not anyone could cook, but rather, not everyone can be a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. Even a Pixar film that feels indie. If you want to hear more on Ratatouille, my friend Cassie did a good job talking about it in our Pixar Path episode together. So try to find her to ask for more opinions on the film. Plus, she's a good chef, and if you hate her cooking, this will happen to you.
Freddie Benson!
The original Incredibles is still an incredible movie.
Get it?
But I still think this one is a little bit overrated by general audiences. Like, it is definitely not the best film from Brad Bird. And I still think the sequel is much better, even if the villain in this one is better than the sequel villain. There really is not much that I could add that I did not add a couple of years ago on my Pixar Path episode on this, so I'll leave a card here for that, and you can watch my review there.
I want to seize power and control through a legion of spiders!
Kung Fu Panda 2 is such an amazing film. It's also kinda tragic. We get to hear about Po's origin story. Like, when you see the first Kung Fu Panda movie, you think to yourself, a goose taking care of a panda? How silly! That's kinda stupid. And then you see in the second movie, like, oh, now that makes sense. Like, you always wonder why the hell is there a goose taking care of a panda? That's stupid. Is it just them being stupid animal logic? But then the second film just makes it all the more tragic. Lord Shen is one of the most evil villains that DreamWorks has ever made. While he didn't technically murder Po's mother, he's the one that gave the attack to do so. In fact, we even get to see the wolf that does it. That same wolf was the one to trick Po near the beginning when he got all the metal. Holy shit, that's a clever detail. On top of that, I do think Lord Shen is funny. Every time he screams, I just get a laugh out of it. Or this joke.
Shen, a panda stands between you and your destiny. What?
Kung Fu Panda 2 isn't as funny as the first one or the third one, but I do think it's a very good film. It's probably the weakest of the three, and I would put Kung Fu Panda 3 higher. You know, if it actually made enough money. But unfortunately, the film with the funniest villain, Kai, who is voiced by J.K. Simmons, isn't on this list.
Oh, come on!
Seriously, how could you not put the actual best Kung Fu Panda movie on this ranking list? How could you not do that, people? You didn't give this movie enough money. Whatever, it's still a great film. And hopefully with Kung Fu Panda 4, we can still continue good Kung Fu Panda movies. Anyways, you should go check out Kung Fu Panda 2 if you haven't yet. It's a perfect balance of comedy and emotion. You know, the more that I think about it, the more I come to the realization that Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs is the best Ice Age movie. Yes, even more than the original. I know in the past I said that was the best, but looking back at my ranking list from earlier this year, if I could, I think I actually would switch this movie to number 1. Mostly because I just like the adventure more. The characters are just better and more interesting this time around. There's a lot of great jokes, and I kinda like Scrat's girlfriend's rival. Like, obviously people used to hate her for whatever reason, but I don't know, I never hated her in the first place. I enjoy Sid's dynamic with the T-Rex children. I think he would make a great mommy. I mean, yeah, he screws up like at the park, but it was funny and he's at least trying. And how the Sid reacts to the mom is funnier. I want to try something nice. You say grr. I say try a compromise. You say grr. I say I'll try to find food that everyone will like. You say grr.
This is how you resolve conflict? No wonder you're single. I say they're vegetarian, you say grr. I say can we talk about this? You say grr. I don't call that communication. See?
I know a lot of you always like to say that Sid is 100% in the wrong for taking the eggs, but why? When he found the eggs, they were abandoned, so I don't blame him for doing that at first. I mean, yeah, obviously they weren't, but no one could tell at first. The two possum twins, Crash and Eddie, are actually funny in this movie. Yeah, I know. I'm shocked as well, because they're annoying in all 4 of the other movies that they are in. But this one is the one exception that they are good. And who can forget about the best character, Buck? Everything about Buck is hilarious. And his story is really good because it is not a lie and the actual truth.
I swung back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, back, and forth.
The helium scene is still the funniest scene in the whole movie.
Don't you see?
We're all gonna die!
Yeah, those are my overall thoughts. I said everything that I think needed to be said. If I missed anything, I did rank the Blue Sky movies earlier this year, so see that if you want more. Despicable Me 3. I think this one is the best of the Despicable Me movies because it's just the funniest one, and I think Drew is a fun twin brother. I know some people hate the fact that Steve Carell also voices him, but you know what? I think he does a good job with them. Like him bouncing off Drew and Gru, I think was pretty good. And I enjoyed the fact that Drew actually wants to still continue the villainy while Gru's like, nah, it's actually better to be a good guy now because the anti-villain league and stuff like that and the Goyles. But it's kind of nice that Drew kind of convinces Gru to be villainous just a little bit before Lucy snaps the both out of them. Speaking of the girls are also better written this time around, given much more to do, including Margot dealing with a potential boyfriend, and Agnes and Ida dealing with a goat that they think is a unicorn. I enjoy the bonding of Lucy with the girls. It's pretty cute. The best character is the villain that Trey Parker plays. Yes, the same Trey Parker that created South Park. He plays an adult villain that still acts like his child self when he played a villain on a television show that he wishes was still real. Balthazar Brat. I love how almost every single evil invention from him is just something from the 1980s since, you know, that's when he was a kid and being an evil show. Bro, his fortress has a Rubik's Cube on the top of it. That's hilarious. Also, I enjoy the subplot with the Minions here more than the Minions movie. This time they go to jail and they just do a lot of funny shenanigans with it. Like, you think they blend in with the jail, but no, they actually take over. Ha! Yeah, this is easily the best one.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
The more that I think about it, the more that I realize that I love Monsters University. When I first watched it back when it came out and I was like 17, I wasn't really sure how to feel about this one. It didn't look good, like it wasn't gonna be fun for me. Of course, it was that time period where I wasn't into animation, but to my surprise, this was actually a pretty good film. Way better than I was actually expecting it to be. It's still not as good as the original Monsters Incorporated, don't get me wrong, but I still think it's a pretty great film. I like the origin stories of what we get to see with Mike and Sully. I know you could say, oh, but they met in the 4th grade. That's what they said in the first movie.
Ha ha ha. You've been jealous of my good looks since the 4th grade, pal.
I never found that as an issue because the writing around it actually makes it good enough to make this new change to the film not be an issue to me. And hey, people change all the time. I enjoy the fact that Randall used to be a good guy, and it's pretty sad to see him go into the dark side because I do think he could have been an interesting character if he was good. But either way, he's still interesting and fun to watch for what we got and for the actual film. Ever notice that when he wears the glasses, he's a good guy, but when he takes the glasses off, he is kind of bad? But also more to the point, he always has trouble seeing with without his glasses. And I always think to myself, even in the actual film like Monsters Inc. 2001, he's still not wearing the glasses, so he still has a thing holding back with Mike. Like, he still cares for him, but he doesn't want to admit because of the things he got through with Mike. And that's kind of depressing, holding a grudge like that. but it just adds more layers to his character and the film as a whole. Hey, so this is a few months after me recording the original audio for Monsters University, and I just realized something upon editing this review here. I just realized that Randall here and Hama Akemi from Madoka Magica are similar personality-wise, like both having red glasses, being nice and shy at the start, then when they take their glasses off in said story, they both get stricter each. And they both had animations to come out in 2013, both being movies. Now that I think about it, Monsters University would have been a much better pick to have the Oscars win than Frozen. Like, you seriously want Hans to win the best animated picture at the Oscars? There were like 3 films in that year that are at least better. Like, Monsters University was better. Heck, this is the same year as, Freebirds. How did that not win? Or heck, the best film of the century, Madoka Magica Rebellion, came out 2013 and there were no nominations for it. Seriously? What the fuck? Anywho, let's get back to the review. I enjoy all the aspects of how the monsters learn how to basically learn to scare children. I know it sounds easy for us, but I do like how there's like an art to it. Like there are different techniques to each child and each different monster on how it works. It's interesting world building here. And I do like Mike and Sully's relationship. The scene at the camp with the lake is easily my favorite scene in the movie for many good reasons. I also do like that Sully was kind of an asshole at first, but then Mike helped him to become better. And I do love the games. Especially that scary librarian. Yeesh. She was definitely interesting to see. You don't have the most memorable characters in the world here, but they make the games fun, and I thought the games in the university were interesting. Although, I do love the guy that says, "I can't go back to jail!" Like, what the fuck did he do to go to jail? I kinda want to know what his story is. Oh yes, I love seeing the cameos of War News and the adorable snowman. And before you say, wait, how's that possible? I thought he was banished. Well, it's revealed in the actual show, Monsters at Work, which is not as good as the year film, and we'll talk about that in the future. But I do like they revealed that the adorable snowman was banished because he discovered War News' plans before Mike and Sully did.
Justly banished by Water News for discovering the Scream Extractor.
Scream Extractor? No wonder he wanted to get rid of you.
That is actually a clever detail. Overall, this film is stupendous.
The animals.
Zootopia got better upon rewatch. The good stuff got much better, but the bad stuff also got worse, sadly. Let's get through the bad before I get to the good. The villain still sucks. Judy's parents still suck. Benjamin Clawhauser. Actually, he was still good. He's a cinnamon bun and he deserves those donuts in the end. Oh, that is so sad that he got moved. He did literally nothing wrong. I should probably mention that I have seen the 6 Zootopia Plus shorts and they were all amazing. My favorite was easily the one with Benjamin Clawhauser. That one alone would have been an honorable mention on my top 10 best animations of 2022 list. The song is very dated because try everything is a terrible thing to say out loud. I have an idea. Let's try tax evasion.
Hello, police station? Yeah, I forgot to tell him about my tax fraud. No, tax fraud. Get him out!
Shakira, the gazelle in the movie that sings the pop song, got arrested for tax fraud in real life. She is not in prison currently, but she still has to do a trial for this later. This is real. The person who sang this song got arrested for tax fraud, just like Nick in this movie.
Ghost Wild, you are under arrest.
For what? Hurting your free wings?
Felony tax evasion.
We're absolutely super
That face that Nick makes. Oh my god, that gets me every time. Also, I still don't get why cute is viewed as a slur. Several other animals in this movie are cute, like hamsters and Arctic shrews. Bunnies don't own that word. I mean, this could have worked if they picked a word better suited for bunnies, like hop or hopper. That I could see as slurs against bunnies. Or heck, Nick several times in the movie calls Judy carrots. That would have been a better word to use. Enough with the bad, let's talk about the good stuff. Everything with Judy and Nick is beyond fantastic. I stand by this. They're my favorite Disney duo ever. While Aladdin is a better film than Zootopia, I feel like Nick and Judy are a better duo than Aladdin and Jasmine. The sloth scene gets funnier every time considering that real DMVs are like this. One thing that got better was the Act 2 breakup of all things because it actually progressed the story and was not annoying to Slayyys. And Nick's line,
Nick, stop it. You're not like them.
Oh, there's a them now.
Got a lot better upon rewatch knowing how he was muzzled as a kid. That's some powerful moments. Also, this cheetah here,
go back to the forest, predator!
I'm from the savannah!
Is the same cheetah that Doug was supposedly going to target next when we heard Bellwether call him on the phone.
What's the mark? Cheetah in Sahara Square. Got it.
Like, damn. I never noticed that detail before. I always noticed the detail of the mom pulling her child from the tiger, Still a powerful moment, by the way. But never that other one. As I said, this is one of the better Act 2 breakups. Usually the goofball screws up. Like, you would expect Nick to be the one to screw up and Judy get mad. It's also usually the male that screws up and not the female. But no, here it's Judy that screws up. And you can't fault Nick in the slightest. Also, call me a furry all you want, but I ended up loving the nudist scene. But it's mostly because of that yak that talks to the elephant. The train part was nice. I love a lot of the world building in this and how we get to explore it. I don't know what else to react. It's just a lot of fun.
Inside Out!
Inside Out is an emotional movie. I'm still baffled to this day that wasn't the tagline for the film. The movie still has a couple of problems with joy, and even upon rewatch, I had some issues with sadness. I'm gonna touch shit at random for no reason. But I don't really mind them in the end. I still cried when we watched this earlier this year, but thankfully I laughed even more. Man, the physical comedy is spot on, and I love Fear's reactions. It's just another fun Pixar film.
Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales.
I'm not the biggest fan of How to Train Your Dragon in hindsight, but I'd be lying if I didn't say that the third one is easily the best in the trilogy. And the only one that I would give a perfect 10 out of 10 to. All the characters felt much better written than in the two previous films. I enjoy Hiccup and Toothless' relationship more here, and was crying when Hiccup had to let Toothless go. Oh man, such good stuff! I had issues with the side characters in the previous films, especially the first one where they never felt needed, but I think they got a big improvement in this one. The villain in this is a much bigger improvement over the second film, and I enjoyed the part where everyone rescues the dragons. Life Fury, or Luna as the fans nicknamed her, is pretty fun. Anytime that Toothless tries to befriend her is such a great time. Bro, that dance he does is so cute.
Circus? Oh no, Caillou, that's not today. The circus isn't till tomorrow.
Kill me. Even though The Last Madagascar is the weakest of the trilogy, I still think this is one of the greatest movies of all time. Holy shit, this is still awesome. This got a lot better upon rewatch, even something like the Act 3 breakup. I thought at first it was gonna be bad, being all cliche and not different, but then Skipper comes in and says,
I can't believe you lied to all us circus folk.
and I was all like, Skipper! Because he was in on the lie. That is hilarious. I love the villain in this movie. She's like a mix of Cruella de Vil and the Terminator. She's great at her job. There's this adult joke where the villain is tracking down the animals. We see guards actually trying to run up the stairs after her ass, but it's unsuccessful and one of the guards slaps him for it. That's so great. The circus stuff is fun. I love all the new animals. Well, I'm more interested in the same old animals that we got. I think the relationships got better, like with Melman and Gloria. You know, with Marty doing the whole Afro circus bit, I came to the realization that all three of these Madagascar movies have had their own meanings, from Skipper's higher mammal in the first one to Moto Moto in the second one, and this one being the Afro. It's clear to me that this franchise will always be mimetic. Well, Mrs. Obama, we did it. I finally saw all three of these Madagascar movies. There's just two left to talk about in this ranking. I really enjoyed this entire franchise, and I'm glad that this ended here and that the Madagascar series never continued. It's not like there's anything else in Madagascar after this, right? Motherfuck!
Ice, ice, baby!
Oh wow, this film got better on rewatch. The Incredibles 2 is still a film that everyone says is weaker than the first, but I find this film to be better than the original in every single way. Okay, there is one problem, and that's the villain. Yeah, even I will admit that this is a lame Pixar twist villain. Upon rewatch, she's not as bad as the one from Cars 2 or even Lightyear, but when you come after Syndrome, you're gonna be held up with high expectations. I forgot her name was Evelyn until I rewatched it for this video. She's not the most memorable character ever. Luckily, everything else in the film I love. People call this ugly for some reason, but after Turn Red and Even Wish, I think anyone will call anime film ugly at random. I love this new Void girl, I like her powers, and she's a cute person. And Bob is not a jackass. I'm baffled that people still think he's a bad father. He does his damn best to taking in information, processing, doing the math, fixing the boyfriend, keeping the baby from turning into a flaming monster.
How do I do it? By rolling with the punches, baby!
And the kids are also better written this time around. That's because they actually do something and aren't a second thought like the first film. And also, they have some very nice scenes.
I just want to be a good dad.
You're not good. You're super.
Aw, that was nice. Even the whole audience awed at that part. There are some funny jokes in this movie, like Violet coming into the kitchen while crying and being invisible. Oh my god, that made me laugh. And also this from the cookies. Jack with Edna is very fun. I love how quickly Edna is enjoying Jack's powers. I always find it weird that people call this Brad Bird's worst film, but honestly, this is his best film, because I find the other 3 popular films that he did, The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, and Ratatouille, all overrated. They're not terrible, but I don't find them as good as everyone else does. You guys can enjoy all these 3 films from Brad Bird that you want, and I'll just be here in the corner as the sole enjoyer of this one.
Ooh, son Amy, spicy.
Alright, before I mention anything about the film in general, can I just point out that Shank looks like Paulina from Super Mario Odyssey? I'm not the only one to ever notice this, right? Also, I love the little touch that the spotlight that Vanellope has with the song is actually a police helicopter. That's clever. When it comes to some of the things I love the most in animation, like the Little Witch Academia episode, Aqua's Adventure in Sushiland, or the Amphibia series finale, The Hardest Thing, someone usually puts up a video ahead of me to talk about what makes these animations absolute perfection. I don't get that at all for this actual amazing movie Ralph Breaks the Internet. This is a film that everyone should talk about. You'll get some people talk about them loving this film, but sadly never gets any clicks, which I hate. People say that this film is worse than both Brave and The Lion King 2019, which I 100% highly disagree with.
I even know the art book of this film. Like, you can see all the characters here and some interesting drawings.
What are you doing in my room? This is my baseball bat.
Oh,
Like, what are you doing? Like, playing baseball?
Oh, shit.
5 years later, and this film still holds up. It has not aged in the slightest. And if it has, then it's aged better. This is Disney's best sequel ever. In the canon, that is. I feel like I can only watch this film with my best friend YojaX10. I don't know, he just makes the film more fun for me. I mean, I could also watch it by myself, but I feel like if I watched it with almost anyone else, I wouldn't have as much of a fun experience. Also, there's this one time where we collabed together, which is still a fun review. I love the joke after the credits with the pancakes. I have never seen a movie actually mention the trailers before in the movie.
Well, there was a scene in the trailer that wasn't in the movie, and that makes me sad.
And the Rickroll, I love that. Although it's a little aged weirdly because of the Frozen 2 being rushed because I saw the documentary, but otherwise I still think it's a funny joke. While every time that I rewatch the original Wreck-It Ralph, I'll notice new mistakes or errors that make me hate the film more, watching Ralph Breaks the Internet is gonna make me notice new things that help me love the movie more. Like, I think it's funny that the sassy housewives woman is just the amp from Big Hero 6. And also, what Meredith said in the trailers is different from the actual movie.
I gave my mammy a cake, she turned into a big bear. My Algin tried to dare in. If that's not a pure mess, I don't know what is. Ugh. Lang me your lumreek and me a moose nail, Lee, you're gurning away a teardrop in his eye. Hey, she back wee lassie.
I love this one random guy that's talking to Groot. Now, his question is alright.
Red Skull refers to Yggdrasil, the World Tree, guardian of wisdom and fate. Are we to believe, sir, that you are a descendant of that tree?
But what's really funny is him walk away smiling and then immediately frowning. That is awesome.
I am Groot.
Okay, thank you very much.
Do I even need to bring up the Disney princesses? I think even people that hate the film at least enjoy the princesses. My favorite princess is Snow White, for the record, and that's who I got on my Disney Princess quiz. No, seriously, that's an actual quiz that you can play for real. Also, they help Ralph not for feminism bullshit, but because it's the right thing to do. One little detail that's nice, speaking of Snow White, because of her kind heart, she's the only one to not attack Vanellope when she enters the room. Even someone like Cinderella breaks her fucking glass slipper. Such badass!
Hi.
Also, all the PJ outfits are wonderful and I want them. Dude, I love Spamly. One of Bill Hader's best performances. Easily the best line is every time he says, "Good!"
It's a bit of a mess.
Hey, good!
Really do. If I can just find that.
Good! Good! Good!
Try to keep a low profile.
Good!
Also, this has one of the most hilarious dark jokes ever. When it looks like Ralph accidentally kills someone's avatar, he just ruins their internet connection.
What the heck? Dang internet!
And for the rest of this number, I'm gonna take a look at the criticisms of the movie and point out the ones that are wrong. Vanellope did not go turbo. Going turbo isn't jumping games. Going turbo is when your intention is to sabotage another one's game. If jumping games was the technical definition of going turbo, then in the first fucking movie when they're doing that meeting, that's going turbo. A lot of people complain about how the internet looks in this movie, saying that it is nothing but white. Does this look white to you? No. The dominant color of the movie is a bright blue. It's yellow only for the Slaughter Race game. This film is not going in the direction of going corporate. which is actually my least favorite direction that entertainers go in, when it's for the money and nothing else. I mean, I will understand that criticism, ironically enough, after this movie's life. When I was living in the 2010s, the internet looked like this. Now it's like this. Yeah, the old internet was better looking. Seriously, why do companies nowadays not like full numbers? And before you say Ralph is like this came out before companies made this stupid change. I made a video on this like 3 years ago when DeviantArt made its change, which, maybe I'll leave a link in the description. It's when they went to Eclipse. And it basically killed DeviantArt. A year after Ralph Breaks the Internet came out, that's when YouTube shortened the subscriber number to no longer full numbers. What's wrong with full numbers, internet? I want full numbers for everything. No hyphens. No K's, M's, or B's, please. Everyone says that Ralph is a creep when he's not. He legit cares about Penelope in a non-sexual way. I can't believe I even have to state this. Penelope's code is put into the game.
Hey, don't forget, Shank added my code and everything, so I'll be able to regenerate. I'm gonna be totally safe.
So please stop saying that she'll die in the game. I mean, at first, yes, it was bad, but they still needed the money at that rate. Speaking of the money, oh, you can't make 27 grand in 8 hours making YouTube videos or BuzzFeed videos. I mean, over 99% of people, I get that. But you know that this is a fictional film, right? This isn't like a film advertising to make videos. In fiction, liberties are created to showcase fantastical scenarios. If everything was realistic, well, where would the fun be? Oh, Toy Story is a bad movie for the toys talk here when toys do not talk in real life. That's what I get when people sound like this. Are we also gonna forget that BuzzTube isn't a real site? It's one of those times I have to say it's just a movie. Yes, what Ralph did probably more than likely wouldn't happen. Especially since there's not like ad revenue coming in, which is actually how websites make money, not the number of likes. But then I remembered that the head algorithm in charge of BuzzTube is helping Ralph. And that is something that YouTube has done before. So yeah, before you say, oh, real CEOs don't do that. Yes, they do. Yes, Susan is not the CEO of YouTube anymore. Ironically enough, she did that thing after this movie came out. So I guess Ralph Breaks the Internet has a Simpsons feel. Not modern Simpsons when they do things like make a leave Britney alone joke a decade and a half later.
Leave Homer Simpson alone! Leave him alone!
But older Simpsons where they predict the future. Everyone gets mad at Penelope for her game jumping and this.
Please, I'm one of 16 racers. They'd never miss me.
The kid's a natural. And the players love her, glitch and all.
But do they? In this film, Litwack says,
kidding me. How much? That's more than this game makes in a year.
If your game makes less than $200 a year, I think it's safe to say that your game is not profitable. And oddly enough, to add onto my defense, the first film said this.
If Penelope was never meant to exist, then why is her picture on the side of the game console?
So if no one knows for years that she was missing, why would players care now? I mean, I bet some would be sad, but it probably wouldn't be enough to bring the game back. And for why they don't have the other machine, it was probably sold for parts since it doesn't sell well. Litwag says that here.
Might be time to sell Sugar Rush for parts.
Penelope with her going to Slaughter Race right after the Disney thing. It's not bad because she admits that she was gonna still go back to Ralph.
I should have just stayed with you instead of following some stupid dream.
Also, they still had a couple of days to fix the game, so it's not like they were on a true time schedule. The Act 2 breakup in this is much better than the first.
Why would I ever spend another second with you after what you did?
No!
It's quicker, nicer, and gets more to the point, unlike the original where it drags on and on. And I love that Ralph has to learn that sometimes friends go in different directions in life. But no matter how far apart you are from someone, a good friendship will last, no matter the distance. And it's proven that Ralph can go back at any time, as long as it's not the work hours. I really do want to give this movie another review again, like a Future Right animation review. A fixer-upper from the original like what I did for Summer Job and #Crushing It. While I do still like my original Ralph Breaks the Internet video, I feel like I missed a bunch of stuff there that I could have brought up again. I would do that for here, but I still got 10 more movies to talk about for this video. And don't expect a Right animation review on this in the near future. It's on the back burner for sure. Someday I'll get to it again, but not for now. Alright, it's time that we head into the top 10 best films on this list. Let's get this done so I can focus on Little Witch Academia again. No, seriously, I just rewatched the whole show again in preparation for a video, because my next video after this kind of involves that. I'll let you know at the end of this video what that video is.
The king has returned.
I gotta say, after trudging through the live-action remake, it's nice to finally watch the original and appreciate all the hard work that went into it. Everything from the animation, to the music, and the voice performances, as well as the writing. It's still a funny film even before Timon and Pumbaa show up on screen. I said everything that I wanted to about this film in previous videos of mine, and even in this ranking prior compared to the live-action remake. But still, a near-perfect film. I love Finding Dory. It's an amazing film, but there really is nothing left that I want to say for this film. I did an entire Pixar path on the movie earlier this year. I'll leave it as a card in the top right corner for now. But yeah, sometimes Dory's memories can come out of nowhere and be a little bit repetitive, but that's like nitpicks in the end. I just had a very fun time with this film, and if you love the original, you will with this one as well. Man, Madagascar 2 just got so much better upon rewatch. When I was a kid, I didn't remember liking the film. I remember seeing it with my mom and brother, and they didn't like the film either. So I thought the film was gonna be bad, but no, upon rewatch, it's one of the funniest films I've ever seen in my entire life. Random fun fact before I forget, did you know that the I Like Them Big guy, the one who sings that, also sings the Samurai Jack theme song? I like them big in the past. I like them big in the past. Anywho, the jokes. Like, there's a scene where Skipper has to check underneath the table for the monkeys' private parts, because they want a maternity leave, and he has to check to make sure he can see their wieners.
About maternity leave.
Maternity leave? You're all male.
How did they let that slide? Also, there's a part where they blackmail Skipper, like the monkeys blackmail him. And when this happens, Marty and Kowalski look at this, and they both snicker, but then they need to shut up real quick. Like, jokes like that just make the film real fun. Makunga is just a fun villain. Like, he just wants to be a villain for fun. And that's what I love. He's a villain that's fun. Not a twist villain, not a redemption villain. Just like, oh, I love to be evil because it's the best thing that you could do. It's fun. More villains like this, please. There's a little subplot of Mort being chased by a shark. I think it's cool. Alex's parents are both really cool, and I'm glad they understand Alex pretty well. It's also more of a tame Lion King when I think about it. Like, if you weren't a big fan of Mufasa's death, like you wish he could have lived through it, I guess this might be the film for you. The animation in this one is really good. Like, all three of the Madagascar movies have phenomenal animation. It's very expressive, energetic, fast-paced. Like, it's pretty good for 3D. But you won't get any better animation than Elmo saying, I like him big. I like him chunky. Look at Elmo dancing. Now that is pure animation. But yeah, in all seriousness, the actual Moto thing is really good. I still love it. There's a joke in this movie where one of the monkeys kisses Skipper, which is hilarious. It's also pretty cool that Melman becomes a doctor. I do like that subplot. How this one giraffe that's just in his hole, and no one's just there to help him. Like, Melman, I mean, it's great that you helped this child, but why aren't you gonna help the sick one in the hole? He keeps coughing. It's also funny that they're like, oh, he's gonna die, but when they see that old giraffe come out, they're like, oh fuck, what have we done? Although it's kind of weird that they'll try to stop him, like, the fuck? The grandma is cool. I love how she beats up Alex. Like, Alex and the grandma have a pretty cool fight. It's pretty awesome. And I love how she becomes the lead of all the humans. It's like the human main antagonist. The entire penguin crew is crazy, and I love the whole 69 months joke. Or should I say, 6 to 9 months? Actually, my favorite thing is when the monkeys get back there when they think they said 69 years when it's really 6 to 9 years. I don't know, I think this is just a fun movie overall. If you haven't seen this movie in a while or just ever, I recommend this one a lot. It's one of the funniest sequels I have ever seen in my entire life.
I finally found it. Now who's gonna stop me?
Kung Fu Panda is one of the greatest movies that has ever been made. It's also a film that doesn't give me a lot to talk about. As in, everyone else kind of already talked about how amazing this film is, and I don't have much to add that is new or different. The original is still well animated. I love the emotional beats that Po goes to overcome his problems. I love his relationship with his dad and Shifu, and the fight scenes are epic. Oogway is still amazing with his metaphors and the impact that he left on everyone before his passing. And do I even need to mention Tai Lung? One of the greatest villains that DreamWorks has ever made in their entire catalog of villains. Kung Fu Panda is a near-perfect trilogy. I just hope that the fourth one coming out later next year can hold a candle to these three.
You're adopted!
That is impossible.
Hey, what do you know? I found Nemo.
I was going to originally gush on how much I love this movie and talk about how it's one of the greatest things that Pixar has ever made, but I'm not. Instead, I want to talk about how this film was made. So Andrew Stanton was with his son in the park one day back many years ago, like in 1997. His boy was happy, but he was very cautious. He liked to go to places that he wasn't supposed to, and Andrew would yell at his son. "Don't touch that," he said. "Watch out for cars. You're going to poke your eye out." But then he came to a realization that he shouldn't be yelling at his son because he was afraid. He instead should just spend time connecting with him. This is a real story, and it's very sweet. I'll link it in the description down below because it's a good summary of Marlin's wonderful relationship with Nemo, along with every other fun character in this movie like the sharks and Dory. I only found this story out recently, and I wish I knew about it growing up. But alas, better late than never. I'll never get tired of this movie as long as I live.
Dude, those animals are so fucking funny!
Madagascar is the best trilogy of DreamWorks, and the original is just the funniest one out there. There are a couple of gross out jokes that aren't the best, like with Melman trying to eat a urinal cake. But other than that, I laugh way harder at this movie than any other movie on this list. It's still a perfect 10 out of 10 film. This might just be the funniest movie that I have ever seen. I think there were 100 jokes before we even got to King Julian.
Where are you giants from?
We're from New York, and we...
All hail the New York Giants!
And the jokes, they just don't stop coming. And I love Alex and Marty's friendship. Upon rewatch, I have a hard time which of the two is supposed to be the protagonist, but you know what? I'm okay with that. They're a great duo. And Melman had new jokes upon rewatch that I never noticed.
I found another brown spot on my shoulder, right here. See, right there. You see? White sandy beaches, cleverly simulated natural environment, wide open enclosures. I'm telling you, this could be the San Diego Zoo. It's unsanitary.
Wait, Melman was choking to death and he was more concerned about it being unsanitary? What? This right here is the best joke of the movie.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea.
Actually, no wait, the shush joke is the best joke of the movie.
You just shushed me.
Marty, look, you've got to be just a little bit
Shush.
more on. Don't you shush me.
Actually, no, wait. This is the best joke of the movie.
Hello? Get me missing animals! And hurry! We've got a lost zebra, probably on the way to Connecticut by now. Hello? Wait a second. We can't call the people. What the?
The penguins are psychotic and I love it. They have this one joke.
Where are the people?
We killed them and ate their livers.
Like, that's fucked up. But then they say they were joking.
Gotcha, didn't I? Just kidding, doll. The people are fine.
But then we learn what they actually did, and it is somehow worse.
They're on a slow life boat to China.
Hoover, damn, that is hilarious. This film even has some great emotional moments. It's just like Kung Fu Panda. While it may not have as many emotional moments as that film, it has way more humor. And even the smaller emotional moments, I think leave a bigger impact for me.
I don't want to hurt you.
Like this film, Marty and Alex have been friends for years, and yet Alex is afraid of her and Marty. That is a really sad, powerful line. Unlike Kung Fu Panda, where Po just kinda met these guys, like there's real no bondage yet, like they're getting somewhere new. But this film, man, that stings even more. Oh, this film has an Act 2 breakup, by the way, but probably the best one. There's no yelling or arguing, it's pretty good. There's actually argument in the film, but it's hilarious.
This is the fun side where we're gonna have a great time surviving until we go home. Ooh, I love this side. This side's the best. That side stinks.
This film got a lot better upon rewatch. I'm gonna be revisiting this film a lot more often from now on. Like, I get that people prefer the other two DreamWorks trilogies as their favorites, like How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda. But to me, this is the best trilogy in the entire DreamWorks lineup. Also, it has a great Christmas special. You should totally watch it. Am I the only one that likes to watch the film first and then the Christmas special right afterwards? But yeah, the original Madagascar, high S. It's got loving characters, a fun environment, plenty of humor, and just a good time overall. Meme joke to end on this one. I got it! Hey Alex, can you please tell us where the Owl House show, where Luz Nocita comes from?
Connecticut!
My toys. You're alive?
Toy Story 4 is the worst Toy Story. With that said, it's one of the greatest anime movies of all time, and easily the most overhated Pixar film. There's a lot that I want to say for this movie, but I'm gonna save it for Christmas Day later this year when I review it as a Pixar Path episode for my series. I still think Toy Story 4 is a really great, phenomenal film that is funny and endearing and has a perfect ending. I can see why Tom Hanks cried when recording this. I'm just glad that this is the final Toy Story. Right? Oh.
Somebody once told me the world is gone.
Keep it together!
Just a warning, people's eyes will get wet, because they'll be crying from laughing from how tragic it is.
It's so much fun coming back to Toy Story 3. In a way, it's like Star Wars Return of the Jedi. And in a way, the first 3 Toy Stories are like each Star Wars film. This could be because each one references the other. The first one being this from Buzz.
Emperor Zurg has been secretly building a weapon with the destructive capacity to annihilate an entire planet. I alone have information that reveals this weapon's only weakness.
The second one being this from Zurg.
No, Buzz. I am your father.
And the third one, of course.
Hey, stop it! Put me down, you idiot!
A part of this is because of the fact that George Lucas helped create Pixar. There's a whole video from Animat that I'll link in the description below that explains the why. But to summarize, he started the company to help him make films. I really love watching Prison Breaks, my favorites being the Avatar episode Boiling Rock, and of course this movie here. It's just so much fun planning out these elaborate heist/breakouts and seeing it into action. Seeing what works, seeing what fails, how the characters respond to each situation, seeing what crazy challenges each prison break has. This one has that fucking monkey! That thing is creepy in a fun way, unlike the baby. And I love the pigeon that Mr. Potato Head encounters, forcing him from going into a tortilla to turn into Pickle Rick! Lotso is an incredible twist villain, funny story, and my Pixar path on the film, Anna, Grant, and I sang this song.
About Lotso, no, we don't talk about Lotso.
And ironically enough, we never actually did show Lotso in the video. That wasn't intentional, that was by accident. Being replaced by someone is hard to deal with. Obviously, Lotso did the wrong thing and he's in the wrong, but he does it well enough to make me enjoy his dark side turn.
She replaced us. Come on. No, she only replaced you.
She replaced all of us, didn't she?
There's so much to love elsewise from the film. I love the new characters that Bonnie owns, including Dinosaur Mabel, lol. The scene of Woody leaving the toys and him flat out rejecting Buzz's handshake is heartbreaking. Especially the part where Woody tells Bullseye to stay behind so that Bullseye is not alone in the attic. But hey, at least he would have the Christmas decorations to talk to if he did.
And those guys from the Christmas decorations box, they're fun, right?
The way that Woody acts here reminds me of how he was in The Black Friday Reel, where he was such an asshole. But unlike the original version, here Woody has a legitimate reason and feels justified. Some may say that Woody escaping so easily is a plot hole, or a question why no other toy escaped like that. But a part of me thinks that no other toy has ever tried to escape during the daytime because of all the kids and some of the adults that are there making it too difficult to escape. Without putting a, Toy Story 1 Sid's House shtick on. And even then, we see a couple of the toys trying to escape but failing each time, in flashbacks. And an excuse for Woody to not be able to pull off the Sid's trick here, there are security cameras. At least for the first time there were those cameras, it'd be harder to pull here. And even then, the film states,
"You got lucky once."
Some hate how this film no longer being the final Toy Story makes it pointless, but I have an objection to that. Even though Toy Story 4 is no longer going to be the final Toy Story film as established in the previous entry, your finale stands out amazing not just for being in the end, that comes across as social brownie points, but rather fantastic writing and characters. When you do it right, you get something like the Amphibia series finale, which I did a whole right animation review on that you could check out also in the description down below. And a bad one is the Star vs. finale, which I'll get to in the future, definitely in December 2024, i.e. next year when I review it on DuckTales to DuckTales. Toy Story 3 has so many funny jokes.
Next season, we're doing cats.
Or might I suggest Hamlet?
The toys doing that would definitely be better than the official 2019 version of the film. The very creative retelling of Annie's imagination at the beginning is a blast and a clever reference to the original film at the same time. Ken was a lot more fun than I remember, especially the scene of him watching Barbie rip his dresses apart while she wears one of them and then Bookworm does this. And of course, the final scene of Andy leaving. It made me actually cry a little bit when rewatching this again. It felt bittersweet. Randy Newman went all out on this and even used elements of "You've Got a Friend in Me" and "When She Loved Me" in the song. Speaking of song references, do you ever notice that the song that plays when the toys are about to go into the Hellfire dumpster sounds like the song from Monsters Inc. on when Sully is looking for Boo and later Mike?
Coincidence? I think.
There are some problems with the film. The fact that none of the toys trust Woody after years and years being together is a bit problematic. Even if I do see the other side of the toys, it's still a bit weird. Big Baby is too creepy for me, not gonna lie. It kind of reminds me of Tin Toy, which is not good, which is actually my least favorite Pixar thing ever. How did Bonnie get Chuckles so easily? And why couldn't the toys have just used Bonnie's backpack to escape Sunnyside, or any kid for that matter? Just go in the backpack, say that's the kid you're gonna stay with from now on. Mission accomplished. As for just Bonnie's backpack, you could argue that it'd be too heavy for her to carry them all, like all the toys at once, but you could at least have Woody do it in the meantime and everyone else later. The film flat out states that Bonnie's house and Andy's house are not that far apart. So it would take what, a couple hours for Woody to walk there? As for escaping, Woody is the one that is on the clock. Can't the other toys take their time? And the pee and poop jokes are a little bit gross and weren't needed in the film at all. But honestly, these problems don't bother me at all. They're just nitpicks in the end. This is still a stupendous film. And I love the analogy of the company of the original people being Andy and the new recruits being Bonnie, because Pixar was changing their company at the time. Though yes, they had a rough start, but they managed to pull through and make amazing films, just like in the old days.
Help! Help me! I'm stuck!
You'll be sorry!
Woo! Shrek 2, the best non-Disney sequel ever! What can I even say about this film that hasn't been said? It's arguably the best film in the franchise. It's also one of the funniest films in history. All new characters are so memorable, the fairy tale world building is spectacular, and it is also extremely subtle in some areas. Like the build up to the twist with Harold is so brilliantly done, and I never noticed it as a kid. The fact that the film hints with him being a frog early on, that's clever. What else can I say except the sequel delivered? As Shrek himself once said,
I'm a delivery boy.
Go watch the damn movie. And furthermore, where else can you see a giant-ass cookie destroy a castle while I Need a Hero plays in the background? It's fucking Okay, something's wrong here. I think we might die. Okay, hang on. I have a procedure for this. Okay, if you're watching this video, I have a request for you. I should give this one last note on this recording to be safe. There's a crystal star here that basically powers this place. It also powers my time machine camera, and it basically will give you powers and anything else to protect you. Use this code, say this to it, Snorkel, to activate the star and its powers. But make sure no one evil is using it. Also, all the pieces have to be together, otherwise it will not work. Alright, I'm out. Oh, there you are, Dashie, good. There's a big problem right now. You need to make sure you...
Goodbye, Rebeccah, forever.
And take that, stupid hat!
Wait, who are you?
Oh crap!
Are you a witch?
Yes, I am.
But you look like me. But if I was a girl...
Well, I am you, 10 years in the future.
Wait, like 27-year-old me?
Yep, you must be my 17-year-old self.
But why am I a witch? I thought witches were supposed to be bad people.
Wait for Little Witch Academia to come out, then your opinion will change.
When is that?
You discover it? Wow, the halfway distance for the both of us.
You, as a magical girl, my job is to fight witches. But I can't do that if it is myself.
Thank you.
But why are you here? How did you get here, for that matter?
An event in the future where I destroy an evil hat that was mind controlling my friends, whoever wore it.
That explains the burnt hat.
Luckily, this is done.
What do you even do now?
Oh, I review animations for a living.
Like My Little Pony?
Yeah, I do that occasionally.
Awesome! My Little Pony is my favorite show.
In the future, it will be Amphibia.
What? No way. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic will always be the best show ever.
Do you like other animations?
Not really. I just care about FIM.
Well, my future has me doing a series called Write Animation Reviews. I review animations there.
Oh, alright then.
By the way, I go by Rebeccah now.
Wait, why?
It's a long story. Come on, is there any movie you love that's animated?
Give me an example of something you think I love.
What about, Monsters, Inc.?
Oh yeah, I guess it was good. I was like 5 years old when I dressed as Mike Wazowski once for a Halloween parade.
Yeah, let's watch it together. It's my #1 right now.
It's stuck!
I always did admire it taking place in the fall.
Yeah, it is a nice touch. It's also kind of interesting that this film came out in the fall of 2001.
Why is that monster do that chicken call?
It was supposed to be Godzilla, but Disney didn't have the rights to it. Did you also know that Billy Crystal was going to be Buzz Lightyear, but he turned it down? He even called himself the dope that turned down Toy Story.
So, what made him do it?
Because he didn't want to make that same mistake twice. He was all like, I don't care what it is, I'll do it.
Boo, it's always cute to see.
Yeah.
I love the 2319 joke.
My favorite is when Charlie puts a sock in him. I just realized that's a pun! Put a sock in it! It needs to shut up.
It's so sad to see, but we're just gonna wait like that. Do we make a sequel to this in the future?
Well, there is a comic book sequel, but no movie sequel.
Oh, that's too bad.
But there is a movie prequel.
Is it good?
Oh, it's really good. I put it high up on my list.
What list?
Oh yeah, I'm ranking the 50 highest grossing anime films right now. Oh yeah, Mario at 5 and Spider-Verse at 6. Grinch at maybe 30.
Wait, Mario gets a film? Like the Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's awesome. Can't wait.
Hate to burst your bubble, but it doesn't come out until the year that I am from.
Where are you from again?
2023.
Are you married and have kids?
No, I'm single, but I do have a daughter.
Oh, are you happy?
It's hard to say. I need help. I have friends, but people keep breaking my trust.
Can you stop the movie?
Okay.
I just find it hard to believe I'm gonna be a woman.
A lot has changed in our life.
Come on, the future can't be all bad, right? Or I guess we get to become famous. I was one of them. Makes me happy. It's what I wish I more about.
You know you don't just become famous and that's it, right?
There's more to it?
A lot more.
But think about it. You get to become famous like Shigeru Miyamoto.
It's pronounced Shigeru Miyamoto. You gotta learn to pronounce that correctly.
You have to be so negative.
Do you have to be so negative?
No, not really. It's just that life has been hard lately.
Oh, really? What could be so hard with your life right now?
Well, it's just that my parents just got divorced, and...
Oh, yeah. It was not that long ago from your time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I haven't got secret. Part of me wishes that they'll get back together. But I know that I can make multiple wishes about incubators.
I hate incubators.
Really? Why?
You'll find out when you're older.
There's this guy that my mom loves that I hate. He's usually an angry guy. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of autism and Asperger's. He has trouble handling that.
No, he doesn't hate you or us for that. His life growing up was shit. He has a daughter that's not that much of a success.
Well, maybe we can raise her.
Oh no, she's all grown up. You remember that woman with the couple of kids that Christmas Day? She's their mother.
Oh, I see.
I hate to be the one to break it to you, but he's gonna be your stepdad, and he's gonna still be that 10 years later.
I don't want to hear that.
In order to grow in life, you need to hear the things that we don't want to listen to.
I get that. My dad and brother have been constantly telling me that. You know, my brother graduated high school. I thought by now that he would have moved out of the house. I would take his room since it's bigger. I had 2 rooms and stuff to put in places.
He never left the house. I did. Or rather, you did. Or we did, technically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
You moved sometime in the mid-2010s.
I didn't move. I can't believe that I'm going to a new school.
No, you graduate high school where you currently go.
What about my high school friends?
You don't have them in the future. You meet up with one of them a couple of times. What you bond over is the fact that even though your worlds apart, you still have a strong connection as ever.
I just find it hard to leave that.
Trust me, Ryan. It's strange after staying in the same place for 20 years and then suddenly not living there anymore.
Well, you're really going to take care of me. I have That usually does, so you can smile when it doesn't know.
Riley's passed away years ago.
Wait, what?
Yeah, like the halfway point from your time period to mine. A solid 5 years.
Do I ever get other pets?
You get a dog named Shadow a year from now, and yet he passed away a year ago from my time.
Such a sad coincidence.
Indeed.
Why Rebeccah?
Huh?
Why are you that name?
The reason for this change is that I wasn't happy being a male.
Why?
It wasn't until the late 2010s when I started coming to terms with myself. I think the name Rebeccah sounded cute, plus it is the female version of Ryan.
Can't Ryan be a girl's name?
Yes, but it's my dead name.
And yet, your popular series Ryan Animation Reviews, this is the name.
Rebeccah Mation wasn't as catchy or even a pun. That's why I made it right Animation Reviews. It's a pun of Ryan plus animation.
Do you know a different series name?
When you work on something for 5 years, it's hard to let it go.
I started here. Great.
I rebooted it a year ago because 2007/2021 was not when I was at my best.
That's when you're famous.
Infamous is more like it.
What about that video game that you made?
It's shit.
The game with the chompigators and pillows?
Yeah, I made that, but it wasn't good in the end. Neither was the animation.
I've been waiting my whole life to make it. Now you tell me you hate it?
Because we learn and grow. What we enjoyed in the past may not be good in the future.
Do I still live my life in the future?
Not really, to be honest, and the show doesn't age that well.
It still keeps going, right?
It ended a few years ago.
Oh, I see.
But you end up loving all of animation, especially Disney.
Isn't Disney just for kids?
No, it's for all ages. I get that it's in a bit of a dark age from your time, but trust me, it gets better.
I could always try to have Grandpa enjoy these new shows with me. After all, he got me into animation. As well as trains. So where you going? It's always nice.
Grandpap's been dead for years.
Is that true?
He died of cancer, leukemia to be precise. You're closer to his death than I am.
There's not much time left.
It never was enough time.
Well, being famous is fun, right?
Look, I'll put it like this. Not everyone is going to love you.
So wait, you get infamous?
Depends on the viewer.
What do you get famous for?
Various videos that get you into controversy. You peak in 2019 and then it's all downhill from there. You think you have your dream job, like SpongeBob working at the Krusty Krab, but then you realize that your dream job is a lie, and it's a lot harder than it actually is.
I would start a YouTube channel just to film the top 10 funny movie contest. Yet that's what gets me famous. This channel of mine. Well, that's kind of amazing. Hey, does that contest still exist despite the show being done?
It still exists today, yes, albeit on a different channel, and I still vote in it every single month.
Well, at least there's some hope.
Barely at times.
Does Steampunk still exist?
Yes, but nowhere as much.
That's a relief.
It is. It truly is.
Mom and Dad, you know this change, being a woman now, but how much is the surgery?
They don't know what I'm like on the internet. They don't even know that I prefer Rebeccah.
Why not just tell the truth?
Because then I get kicked out. I know what my mom told me a few years back.
Do you still play clarinet?
I haven't played the clarinet since I left high school.
What? But I've played for 7 years.
You only play it once, I think, after that? I honestly don't even remember the last time I played the clarinet.
Thought I was going to play that forever.
Our brother doesn't even play it anymore.
Wow, that sucks.
It really does.
Do you even make a cartoon show?
I've made a couple of animations, but they suck as well.
It's just so weird to hate your own works.
Those Mario levels that you made in those journals suck as well.
Hey, I spent a lot of time on those.
I'm sure that you did.
It's just that I don't want to work on something for so long just for people to hate it later.
With that attitude, you will be kicking and screaming in the future.
Wasn't that a soccer movie?
It's also an expression.
I really don't get how you can still have, that body part down there, while still calling yourself a woman.
Sounds like the typical troll comments that I get.
What are trolls?
Sorry, I just forgot that there was an innocent time period of mine where I didn't know that. The shit that I've dealt with in the past couple years hasn't been worth it. It's like I'm in Monica Magica and I sign a contract to be famous, and for the rest of my life I have to deal with these witches or trolls in this case.
What's Monica Magica?
Oh yeah, I didn't watch that anime yet back then. And yet, you're technically a magical girl. So, that's kind of funny. You'll find out in the future. Okay, I need to get going.
I'm sure my brother and dad are out right now, so I'm here by myself on a rainy night.
Huh? I didn't even realize that it was raining.
How did you even get here?
Time hole. I have a thing, but it doesn't look like it's gonna work right now.
Maybe you can find parts for it.
One can only hope. Oh well, here I go out in the dark.
Good luck.
Oh, one more thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You needed that.
Can't wait for my future.
Same here. See you in the future.
Same to you. Hee.
Rebeccah, please, wake up, please.
Rebeccah, are you in there?
It will make us feel better.
Sky, you can do it.
Get up for us.
Huh? Am I back?
Did you destroy the hat?
Oh yes, it's gone. I met my past self from 10 years ago today when I start all of this.
And you met your past self? Isn't that going to cause a paradox?
Yeah, and I found out Becky's parents' origins. Yes. Later, Becky. We all have had a hard day. Or a week or two or a month or... Gee, how long has this been going on again? I think we all need to just go home and get some rest. And then start fresh sometime, I don't know, maybe next week, next month, or maybe next year.
Rebeccah?
Yes?
Can you promise something for me? I want you to stop being negative in your videos. I want you to start being fully positive, both in and out of it. Being truly negative is what led you in your downfall in the first place. It's what made you go insane.
I understand.
We all made mistakes in the past, but as long as you remember them and take responsibility and don't blame others, people will forgive you.
I understand.
A lot of bridges were burnt. Some will never be built again, but maybe if you had a healthier mindset, people will start to follow you again.
Right, I get that. Only if you promise to test out witch hats before putting them on. You don't know if you'll get puppeted or brainwashed again.
That's true. Oh, God. Now I know how I Mean felt when Jafar controlled him. You reap what you sow, Dashie. You reap what you sow. Oh, God, how am I going to tell Rebeccah about...
Huh?
Nothing. This was a, experience, to say the least.
I don't think things are going to be the same again.
Now that all the cards are on the table, what are you going to do next?
I think it's time for those DuckTales to DuckTales episodes. Year Jurassic. Starts next month. Might as well get to that.
Hey, Rebeccah, not to be rude, but weren't those demon things actually called witches?
Baka.
Oh, God damn it! I meant bitches! My fucking stutter. Swear to Kami.
They're called demons. Anyone that thinks that witches are evil themselves.
Rebeccah, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you that I was here. Do you forgive me?
Yes, I do, Figment. And how can I not? I love magical creatures, except incubators.
What the hell is an incubator? Isn't that the thing that hatches Pokemon? And chicken eggs?
You're better off not knowing what those are. Thanks. I gotta get used to my new appearance. I'm no longer gonna hide my witch side anymore.
That's a pretty good look for you, Rebeccah.
So I guess today was the correct date. I'm sorry that I got the dates wrong. That girl must have given me the wrong information.
What girl?
You know, I don't recall off the top of my head, and I definitely didn't get her name.
Well, I'll have to look into this later. I say, right now, let's just all celebrate that we're happy and alive. I'd rather not say.
Come on, sis. I know what to say.
And thus, that's the end of the first decade of my channel. For you guys that stay with me for so long and deal with all the hardships over the years, you mean the world to me.
Of course. Okay, on the count of 3. 3, 2, 1, go! Happy 10th anniversary, Rebeccah!
Thank you for everything. You mean the world to me.